Benny, can you just check?
Shanmugh, can you hear us?
Sanmukh sir, can you hear me? Hello.
Unmute करके बोलो.
Please unmute yourself, sir. Please start your video, sir. Manas Sebi, can you unmute yourself? Manas? Shanmugh Nayak, Manas Sebi, can you unmute please? Please check the connectivity. Sagar Gaurav, can you unmute yourself? Sagar Gaurav, can you hear me? Say something. Sagar Gaurav, unmute yourself. Hello, can you hear me? Hello? Hello, mic check. Hello? Hello? Ashwini, can you speak something?
हाँ, गुड मॉर्निंग सर, दिस इज फ्रॉम सागर गौरव. तो आपका आवाज है ना थोड़ा बात जैसा आ रहा है. इट इज नॉट क्लियर.
सागर गौरव, फिर बताइए क्या बोल रहे हैं.
हाँ सर, हम प्रॉब्लम ये है कि आपका जो आवाज है ना इट इज नॉट क्लियर. वो उसमें थोड़ा बास थोड़ा हाई है.
बास हाई है.
हमारा आवाज आ रहा है.
आपका आवाज क्लियर आ रहा है. आपका वीडियो भी आ रहा है ऊपर.
Check 1 2 3 check.
अभी आ रहा है.
Hi Shobha, how are you?
हाँ, अभी थोड़ा क्लियर हो गया सर.
सर गुड मॉर्निंग सर. सर आपका म्यूट है. सर गुड मॉर्निंग, आपका म्यूट है.
Yeah, now I can get it.
Yes, sir, we can get you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
But as Sagar Gaurav was mentioning, your voice is not clear from.
Yes, sir, we will look at that. We are looking into the matter, sir.
Check, check, mic check. Mic check, 1, 2, 3. Mic check.
It's better now.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
See, when I'm speaking, it is better. That's what I'm hearing from Mr. Upi Singh also. He's saying it is better now. So he can hear me very clearly.
Yeah.
Good morning, Singh Saab. Good morning, Singh Saab.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. And
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
good morning. How are you, team Sagar Gaurav?
So you all are fine, sir. Thank you, sir. आप कैसे हैं, sir?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. Wish you all very happy Diwali.
Sir, with your kind permission, shall
Thank
we
you, sir.
start
Thank you,
the
sir.
proceedings, sir?
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Please go ahead.
Sir,
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. May I request everyone to take their seats, please? Can I request everyone to take their seats, please? The gentlemen who are standing next to the counter, if you can please take your seats. Thank you. And if you could also put your mobile phones on silent. So welcome again, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Manav Kanwar. I'm going to be your MC for today. Welcome to the third Offshore DOIRC. Without further ado, we already have our chairman of IABC, Mr. Upi Singh, online from Delhi. Good morning, sir. So without further ado, I would like to, I think we have the agenda on the screen now. We would like to start with the lighting of the lamp. Unfortunately, our chairman, Mr. Upi Singh, could not make it to Mumbai today, but we have all the other dignitaries here. So I would like to invite Mr. V.V. Prasad, CBS, to come on the stage for lighting of the lamp. The lamp. Mr. Michael Kochia, if you could, Kochia sir, if you could come on the stage for lighting of the lamp, and Mr. Vishnu, Colonel Vishnu Rawal, lamp will be
Thank you.
Mr. Rajendra Inamdar, Mr. Narendra Jindal, Vice Chairman IABC. Shobha is assisting us with the lighting of the lamp. Thank you, Shobha. Sanjay Bhatt, please, Head Billing Services, Shallow Water, please join us for lighting of the lamp. Thank you. Can we also invite Dynamic Drilling, Mr. Vivek from Dynamic Drilling, and from Jindal Drilling, who do we have here? Yeah, welcome. Narayan is here. Please, Narayan from Jindal Drilling and Mr. Vivek Verma from Dynamic Drilling, please join us for lighting of the lamp. And I would like to request Thomas Sheridan from Constellation. They are running the deepwater rig Olinda Star. Please join us for lighting of the lamp.
टोकन एक बार लाइसेंस
Thank you, gentlemen. We continue with the agenda now. We have the safety moment by Randeep Gandhi. Randeep is the expert on DOIRC. He has conducted all the previous DOIRCs also. He is a mechanical engineer with many years experience in the industry. Worked in various positions in offshore and onshore projects with companies like ONGC, SR, BG Group and Shell. And he's worked not only in India but internationally also in the Middle East and Australia. Randeep, if you could kindly come on stage for the safety moment.
Yeah. Good morning all. Good to see everyone here. Thank you for coming. I'm really happy to see everyone here. So we'll go through the safety moment, which is the animation video there. And instead of me giving the reflection, I would like to hear from you what's your reflection on the video that you're going to see animation. This is something wonderful that ONGC has done, and I think every organization should look at it. How do you represent the incident happens there to communicate the message to your team on the rig? It makes no sense when you show them video rather than talking about it, because many people may not understand when you talk about in theory. So if you can play the video, please. Is it coming? Anyway, while the video is being played, let me talk about how the day is going to. This time we have a little different DOIRC than what we had usual past two DOIRCs offshore and one DOIRC we did onshore. It was all about occupational safety incidents. And then Mr. O.P. Singh last DOIRC he was here personally with us in Leela, and he was quite interested and he has given me instruction and order say that I would like to see something on process safety, well control. So we have tried to cover well control process safety in this DOIRC, and going forward we would like to look at the significant incident week of occupational safety or well control. We would like to share the learning and recommendations from it. Okay, while this technologically there is some issue there, so they are fixing it now. The safety movement is all about raw water tower. The crew is working on the raw water tower, and there was a serious incident where 3 people got injured seriously there. And I think once we see the animation, you will appreciate that what was not in place or what could have been done to make sure the incident don't happen. We all know that all incidents are avoidable and preventable. Everybody agrees that? Yes, we all agree. We all sitting here in this room as a leaders and also people online, they all agree that all incidents are preventable. So why do we have the incident again happening? Why is that happen? Somebody can answer that. Why do the incident happen? Even though we know they are preventable, we still have the incident happening. Why? Complacency, yes. Shortcuts. Absolutely, absolutely, and that's the whole idea behind this DOIRC is we do learn the lesson there, and we want to make sure that these don't happen. So what happens is these get forgotten very fast. Either change in the people, change in the processes there, change of the location, many factors that influence this, to happen
again. And I think it's not easy solution to this, how do we ensure that the process or the information is passed on so that we don't have the incident happening. We do have the incident happening. But in terms of, overall, if you look at risk assessment, now if you look at any incident that happens there are 3 or 4 reasons always there. Immediate cause of the underlying root cause is there, inadequate supervision, improper JSA there, people not following the SOP, isn't it? 3 or 4 are the key major findings of the incident there, but we still have this. And attitude, the behaviors, absolutely, that's also, it's a human factor. The human factor also comes in nowadays. It's very important human factor that we overlook many a times, and that is about behaviors. So I'm sure Darial is going to talk about during his session there, and I don't want to steal the thunder, something that ONGC has something introduced, new one now in organization, and I'll leave it for RS to talk about it. Any luck with the video animation there, Vikram? Okay, now while we are on the safety movement, I'm briefly mentioned about the incident. Anybody in this room wants to share any safety movement? Now, safety movement doesn't have to be a presentation. Safety movement doesn't have to be a slide pack there or videos. Safety movement could be something that happened to you personally at home, personally while you're out there in the shopping. It can be there that you want to share, which could have a big learning, a small incident, but could have very impactful learning. If anybody wants to share, please. And don't feel intimidated, don't worry about it. You can just speak up, You have to be vulnerable. So if you want to talk about, anybody wants to talk about. No one? So then I have to pick up somebody then. Because if there is no one, then I have to ask someone. Hey, where is the mic, please? Can I get a mic? Mic, please.
Check.
I would prefer not the HSE guys there, but anyway, ultimately it comes down to Uday most of the time. Go ahead, Uday.
Yeah, morning everyone. This is Uday here from Great Ship India Limited. And one of the safety moments I'd like to share with everyone is last week it was while I had taken a cab to go to the office. Wasn't driving my own vehicle. And this person, I saw his vehicle going left and right, not in the straight line really. I was sitting at the back. And I had to ask him, okay, what's wrong? Why aren't you driving straight on the line? One of the reasons he gave me is that he's not feeling well. I said, if you're not feeling well, then why are you driving? It's not safe for you, neither for me, nor for the other cars which are on the road. And this person says that, no, I haven't slept properly. I've been driving in the night as well. So my shift is going to get over at 10 o'clock. And then I will be going off. Meanwhile, I thought I'll earn some extra bucks, so I'll drive. So for this reason, these are some of the soft reasons, but high impact. And same thing happens on our installations as well. There could be lots of factors with the human factors why a person could not focus on his job and why it happened. So when you do the root cause analysis, this is when you find out. So these are some of the things we can identify to prevent incidents from happening.
Superb. Thank you. I think road safety, we all have to commit to make sure we wear the seat belt in the back seat. I have been doing it for many years now. Everybody sitting in the room should make sure that you wear the seat belt when you're sitting in the back seat. Play the video, please. Thank you.
Replacement of raw water pump is part of periodic maintenance at rigs. A team was assigned with the task of replacing the raw water pump from the raw water tower area situated at the port side of the rig. The team arrived at the port side of the rig and started the first part of the job of removing the raw water pumps from the raw water tower. A crane was used to remove the raw water pump from the raw water tower. The team successfully removed 2 raw water pipes and placed it safely on the main deck. In order to pull the 3rd raw water pipe, the tower was raised up slowly using a crane. As the tower was being raised up slowly, the pipe broke off near the welded flame joint resulting in the abrupt free fall of the raw water pump. The falling water pump swiftly pulled down the unsecured attached electric cable stacked nearby. The quick downward moving cable gave no time for escape, causing injury to 3 people who were in line of the movement. The on-duty medical officer was informed immediately by the person standing nearby. All the 3 injured persons were taken to the medical center and the on-duty medical officer administered first aid to them. All the 3 injured persons were medically evacuated to Mumbai for further treatment. So, let's check what safety procedure lapses led to this accident. Starting, a proper job safety analysis was not performed to visualize the risks involved at workplace. The team involved in pulling out the pipes failed to secure the power cables before the commencement of the job, leading to an unsafe act. Thus, the immediate cause of the accident is an unsafe act done on part of the team. During the pulling of the third riser pipe, the connection at the flange suddenly snapped and pulled the heavy power cable down along with the pipe. This sudden movement of the cable caused injury to 3 people standing in line of the moving cable. There was no time for them to move to safety. Had a proper job safety analysis been done to identify all risks related to the work and appropriate mitigation measures had been taken, this unfortunate accident could have been averted. Following are the lessons to be learnt from this incident. Proper job safety analysis, including visual inspection of the workspace, should be carried out for every job for identification of all risks associated with the job, and a mitigation plan for the same has to be developed and implemented before commencement of the work. The details of the identified risks, mitigation plan and SOP for the job need to be discussed with all personnel carrying out the job before starting every job. All personnel have to be advised to be alert while performing the job. Power cables during pulling out must be secured properly. Practice of carrying out non-destructive testing for riser pipes along with flange connection should be carried out before lowering them or at the periodicity of 3 years. Whichever is earlier should be followed. The health and safety of every one of us is in our hands, and therefore we should be vigilant and alert to make our working environment safe and incident-free at all times.
So, what's the reflection? Anybody wants to raise hands and say that what is that not been told in the animation that they would like to talk about other than Uday? Yeah, go ahead.
In this, what is left out is the engineering control. In shelf drilling, we have replaced the raw water towers with the C-jet system, which is we eliminate a lot of risk in it. So engineering control is required.
Superb, very good, thank you. So this is one way of looking at it, how do we eliminate the hazard? And this is one way of design, remove the hazard by design, which is either using the technology or changing the complete equipment like he's taught, C-chest, which I have seen that been used there. Any other reflection? So like I was talking about before, in this, any incident you see that JSA was not done adequately or effectively, either the toolbox stock was not proper, unsafe act was not identified. Why do these things happen again and again? It's easy said than done, JSA should be done, you do the JSA, you talk about it. Is that JSA effective? Are we identifying the potential hazard? It's not just about the hazard, what is there. Can we envisage the potential hazard and look at, okay, what mitigation do we have in place? Do we talk about the escape route when we talk about, when we are planning the job? Do we plan our job properly there? Do we talk about, okay, are we going to be in the line of fire? You know, talking about line of fire, that there were 3 people in the line of fire and that is how they got hurt there. So there are a lot of messages coming from this, and this animation is a wonderful way of depicting it and communicating the message all the way to the front line where people are, you know, getting affected there. Going forward, yeah, go to the next one, please. Thank you.
Thanks, Randeep, for the safety moment. I would now like to call upon our DOIRC chairman, Mr. V.V. Prasad, CDS Shallow Water, ONGC. Mr. Prasad is a ME Mechanical Engineering, PG Diploma in Operations Management, and an MBA in Finance. He's a fellow of the Institute of Engineers, India. He has been with ONGC for more than 33 years, working in various offshore and onshore fields, and also management level jobs. He's currently the Chief of Drilling Services for Shallow Waters in Mumbai. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Manav. Good morning to everyone. Respected Director TNFS and Chairman IDC SC Chapter Sri O.P. Singh Saab, our IDC executive members, business partners, and my colleagues from ONGC, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to everyone. In the capacity of DOIRC, I extend a warm welcome to each and everyone present today for this 3rd DOIRC offshore meet. And in fact, this is the 4th DOIRC offshore meet, if you consider onshore also. The Drilling Operations Incidents Review Committee, in short DOIRC, is a collaborative platform for sharing of significant incidents and learning. The first offshore DOIRC meet was conducted online on 8th January 2022. And the second such meet was held in hybrid mode on 31st May 2022 in Mumbai, where learnings from operational incidents were shared from different sections of the drilling industry. Further, on 27th July 2022, the first onshore DOIRC meet was organized in IRS Ahmedabad. The last DOIRC meeting at Mumbai witnessed the participation of more than 150 delegates from our valuable drilling business partners, chiefs, and heads of services of ONGC, Western Offshore and Onshore, along with their team members. And more than 80 participants joined online from offshore rigs and drilling operators. Today we have gathered again to have another such opportunity to share and learn. In today's meet, the previous DOIRC recommendations, their compliance status along with the HSC statistics of the preceding year will be presented. As advised by our beloved Director TNFS and Chairman IDC SC Chapter, this DOIRC meet will also include presentation and discussion on recent process safety incidents, especially well-controlled incidents by respective incident owners. It will be a wonderful learning opportunity for all to witness a session filled with knowledge and experience. We are greatly indebted to Director TNFS and IDC Chairman Sri O.P. Singh Saab, as regular conduct of DOIRC meets could only be possible due to his continued guidance and support, and also thankful to him for sparing his invaluable time today. The benefits of discussing operational incidents in interactive form like DOIRC can be seen in significant improvement of safety awareness in the frontline workforce. Our efforts to continuously enhance the HSC culture of offshore drilling operations in particular and drilling operations across industry have resulted in improved safety culture with increased number of near miss reported and reduction in LTIFR in offshore operations. I request everyone present to have an active participation in discussions today, and I am confident with the commitment shown by all stakeholders that we can further strengthen the safety environment in offshore drilling operations. Do it the safe way, do it the right way, and every day. Thank you and Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. I would now like to invite our IADC South Central Asia Chairman, Mr. O.P. Singh. Mr. O.P. Singh is also the Director, Technology and Field Services of ONGC Limited, which he took over the post on 1st of April 2020. He's a mechanical engineer with more than 33 years of experience. Mr. Singh has built a deep industry understanding and proven management experience during his technical and commercial roles he undertook during his career. He has a distinguished track record as a drilling engineer and demonstrated dynamic leadership and vision. He is well versed with national and international E&P business, having worked in both in India and in overseas projects in Vietnam, Iran, Qatar, and Brazil. His tenure as the head of Nava Supply Base was very impressive. Under challenging conditions, he exhibited a leading role with enthusiasm, clarity, and discipline, thereby transforming the performance of the supply base. With a focus on performance metrics and a continual drive for excellence, Mr. Singh spearheaded Tripura Asset as the asset manager. During his time there, the asset made significant improvements as he was instrumental in a number of initiatives that enhanced the overall performance of the asset by fast-tracking projects and synergizing resource mobilization and its utilization. Mr. O.P. Singh has an open-minded and forward-looking approach with firm belief in teamwork. And having worked with him in IDC for the last few years, I can say with conviction that he's also got a lot of focus on safety. And that's why we are here today, doing this DOIRC. Welcome, Singh Saab. We look forward to your address. Singh Saab, you're on mute, I think, if you can unmute yourself. पहले तो
Thank you. So thanks to Manav for good words about me. DOIRC Chairman Shri V.V. Prasad, my friends from IADC SCA chapter, industry colleagues who have joined this DOIRC meet online, offline, and all my dear teammates who have joined from different rigs. I came to know that many rigs are connected and they are participating online through video link to this DOIRC meet. Dear ONGCians, ladies, gentlemen, a very good morning to all of you. At the outset, please accept my apologies for not being able to make it to Mumbai for today's meet due to my other pressing official engagements. I am very happy to be part of this third offshore DOIRC meet today. Apart from offshore, DOIRC meet for our onshore drilling operation was also conducted recently. So this becomes a fourth such meet this year, a commendable feat for the forum. My special appreciation for this forum, DOIRC Chairman and entire IADC Central Asia chapter for working tirelessly for creating a safe work culture for achieving our goal of zero harm, not only for our assets and workforce, but also for the environment. My special thanks and appreciation to Sri Randeep Gandhi, who is moderator of DOIRC, and I firmly believe, and I think you all will agree with me, that DOIRC is the brainchild of Sri Gandhi. So my special thanks and appreciation to Sri Gandhi. I must share that it gives me immense satisfaction to see the active and overwhelming participation from all stakeholders involved in our drilling operations. I would like to begin today with a very old saying, which goes like, watch your thoughts, they become your action. Watch your action, they become your habit. Watch your habits, they become your character. And watch your character, it becomes your destiny. This is very pertinent today in today's context. We need to be in control of our thought process to change our destiny. So, if our ultimate target is to ensure zero harm, we must work towards changing our habits and thought process. As Mr. Gandhi also mentioned during his initial speech or introduction, that safety is a thing of behavior. If we think about safety, if we inculcate safety in our behavior, then only we will able to create a safe work culture. Now, big question is how to change our habits and thought process. One way is through constant unlearning and relearning by sharing our experiences. And this is exactly how and where DOIRC platform is providing a perfect opportunity by sharing our experiences and learnings. Safety and risk management stipulates root cause analysis of all incidents. We need to analyze what went wrong, why it went wrong. We need to introspect where it was a shortcoming in our SOP or adherence to safety protocols. We must clearly bring out the corrective measures and key initiatives undertaken for their mitigation and overall improvement. We need to analyze our workplace safety in terms of key indicators like near miss. If incidents reporting improves, unsafe acts will automatically reduce. This will require a behavioral shift in our safety pattern. So train and retrain our workforce, share your learnings and experience to modulate your approach towards behavioral safety. This is how safety culture shall become a habit, which we all are talking about it today. ONGC has also been proactively working towards ensuring safety culture throughout the entire range of our operations. Digital in safety is going to be a game changer. I can share that ONGC has recently commenced AI/ML based digital projects for ensuring behavioral safety of our workmen working in our critical installations. Also, awareness and behavior-based trainings and workshops are being conducted. Recently, ONGC Academy has started the regular MEMIR training on simulator as per OP2 standards. This training shall certainly help our officers to manage and control offshore emergency in a better manner. Further, to sensitize the importance of an individual's attitude in ensuring the safety at workplace, a workshop on behavior-based safety was conducted by IDT as well. IDT conducted this training, and I also inaugurated that training, where I requested all the participants that now onwards, you are the instructor for this training and you are going to train the personnel on your installations where you are working, and you will be the new faculty for your installations. So similarly, like DOIRC, many rigs are connected. Those rigs which are not connected online, all rig managers, senior supervisors, and if OIM is there, it's their responsibility to communicate to the last person on the rig that what has happened in this DOIRC meet, what was the learning from this meet, and if need be, all these presentations and videos should be shared to all the rigs, all the installations, and we have to ensure that it is seen and understood by all the rig crew who is working on the rig, not only the shift who is at present there, but all the 4 shifts. Friends, enhanced safety is prerequisite for enhanced productivity. The trees of safety culture planted by DOIRC are now bearing fruits, and our combined efforts are resulting in improved safety awareness among the workforce with reduced number of incidents in drilling operations. I can say with a big certainty that within last 6 months, I have seen reduction in incidents in offshore and improvement in reporting of near-miss incidents. This is clearly an indicator of good output of our efforts. So friends, what efforts we are putting in, that's now bearing the fruit. So we have to put additional efforts with more zeal and spirit to ensure that each and every person, whether it's ONGCian, contract rig personnel, or contractual workforce who is coming to offshore, even for shorter duration of work, they are safe and they are understanding the safety importance. So friends, I exhort the entire industry to leave no stone unturned for building a safe culture where employees understand and identify hazards and know what procedures they must undertake to be safe. Not only with a safe workplace help to keep the workforce motivated, but will also benefit the entire organization and fraternity at a large. Before concluding, friends, I want to be very rude, and I am going to say this, that safety is not free, and we are ready to pay any cost to bring safe work culture in our entire gamut of operations. There is nothing costlier than limb and life of an human being and our teammates. And at any cost whatsoever it is, it may be, we have to ensure that each and every one of our team members are safe and they go back safely after completing their 14 days or 28 days to their family members to happily spend their off period with their families. Because we all are doing in offshore, we all are doing very tough job, very astonishing, very tough and very serious job. So friends, I have one appeal to all of you, and especially the rig crew who are connected here online, that if we all is going to work together, I bet that we will make it together and only together with our teamwork and collaborative approach. And I'm sure that the efforts, the DOIRC team, IADC, SCA chapter, and ONGC and our business partners we are putting in, we are certainly going to create a very healthy and safe work culture in both our onshore and offshore operations. With these words, I conclude my speech. My best wishes for a successful meet. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Singh Saab. Any reflection, anybody has any question for Mr. Singh that you would like to ask? Because this is a good opportunity to ask him any question. Anybody has got there any confusion, because he's very clear in terms of his expectation and what his support he's giving. He said at any cost, which is a big commitment that Mr. Singh is making now. I think it's the onus is on the leaders sitting in this room and people sitting on the rig site and online. It's that their ownership now and responsibility to make sure that if you think you need something, you need to raise your hand, you need to ask for it, because he said that there is a commitment from him. So it's a huge commitment. So thank you, Mr. Singh, for your commitment. I really appreciate that. And if anybody has any question there, you can ask him. Otherwise, I hand over to Mr. Mano.
Thanks, Randeep. Hello? Yeah, I think it's better now. Thank you. So thank you, Randeep. Thank you, Singh Saab, for your address. I would now like to call upon Mr. R.S. Dadiyal to make a presentation on previous DOIRC action implementation, safety statistics, rewards and recognition. Mr. Dadiyal is a mechanical engineering graduate from Gulbarga University and has been with ONGC for 30 plus years in various field and management level jobs in domestic as well as overseas projects. He is currently handling an important role as the head safety of drilling services in Mumbai, contributing to create a safe environment for the workforce. Dadiyal ji.
A very good morning to all present in this hall and online, respected Director Saab and all the rig crews who have connected online in the forum. Our beloved Director has shared his views, and I would like to showcase a bit of what initiatives and milestones Drilling Services Mumbai has achieved. And I'm not surprised by him when he said that the incidents have gone down, the near misses have increased, the reporting of near misses has increased. This shows that our top leaders are closely monitoring our activities, and that's a very good motivation for us, sir, that our top leaders are closely monitoring our efforts. Yeah, this is a slide on what the Drilling Services Mumbai has been doing. This is just a snapshot. We have been doing a lot of activities. A few of them are listed out here. That we are doing sessions on safety critical equipment awareness. We did an online session with all the rigs connected to the virtual forum. Then to motivate our workforce and to check the awareness of the sessions which we have done, we carried out quiz at the ground level for checking the spreading of awareness of safety critical equipment and the bridging documents, because these two are supposed to be a very, very critical point in our operations. Like for, the bridging document is a very critical document between the contractors and the working around with us. Different contractors work and they have different safety policies and safety procedures. So we have a bridging document in place for every contract and every rig. So we make sure that the people who are posted out there to monitor the operations and to participate in the various operations, they are aware of the bridging documents. So we carried out quiz competitions for that, and rewards were also given to the active participation which was done. And I must say, there was quite a good number of participation online. And then down below, I mentioned that HSCDS Mumbai conducted hand and finger safety awareness sessions with ONGC rigs. We conducted safety awareness campaigns at the rigs Sagar Shakti, Sagar Jyoti, Sagar Kiran on hand and finger injuries, and 10 safety rules. Whenever we are going for an internal audit, my team goes out there for internal audit. We make sure that we take that opportunity not only to evaluate their safety awareness and the procedures in place and whether they are doing all what is required as per statutory requirements. We also take that opportunity to create an awareness among the workforce out there, and which is very, very beneficial. And I'm sure which is very visible in the next slide which is coming down. Next, please. Yeah, this is a very, very self-explanatory graph. Lost time incident frequency rate, last 10 quarters. You can see the spike going up and then gradual coming down, sharp decline. And now I'm very proud to say the last quarter from 0.6 to 0.3 is the figure for this LTIFR. Next, please. Can you remove the नीचे से हटाइए please? बेस में से जा रहा है. या तो ऊपर ले जाइए इसको. हाँ ये. Here, these are the near miss analysis. Like Director Saab had very rightly said that there's an increase in the near miss reporting. It's very, very obvious from the figures which are there. Financial year 21-22, we had. Well, you will be wondering what are the two separate things. We have ONGC rigs, we have chartered rigs or business partners, and ONGC rigs, we have jackups and floaters. So you have just given a segregation of the, the type of rigs which are there, and what is the participation from the rigs as far as the near miss reporting is done. And very, very quite impressive figures. We had 2003 last year, and 399. These are the split of figures. And if you see this year, till 30th September, we are already around 1100, or maybe say, I think 1100 plus 230, around 1500 figures. We are already reporting good near misses. Next, please. And I would like to add here, sir, like you had advised in the first DOIRC, Director Saab, you have to analyze the near misses also, the high potential near misses which are there. And we have a analysis done out here. What are the near miss segregation? If you see the unsafe act by worker, 25%, unsafe working conditions, 15%, improper housekeeping, these are the major contributors to the near misses. And people are aware, they are reporting these incidents, they are taking remedial actions, and we are closely monitoring those near misses in the system, and we directly connect with the OIMs and the company-mans on board to get these near misses remedial action immediately done and closed in the system. Next. Next slide, please. Yeah, this is the trend of reporting. If you see the self-explanatory, the reporting, the number of near misses which are reported all over year round. The different rigs, all are participating in equally in reporting the near misses. Well, some are high and some are low. Well, maybe, because they may be in the new contract and they are reporting. And definitely it shows that people are reporting. And whenever there is a less number of reporting, we keep on urging and exhorting those people to our partners, our workforce, to encourage them to, report the near misses. Next, please. A very, very good slide out here, and which is showing the efforts which we take from this DOIRC, sharing of lessons and recommendations spreading all over the workforce, and the near miss reporting encouragement. This is very evident from the number of reduction in the incidents which are there, which I have shown you the slides, the LTIFR coming down, the near miss reporting going up. The more near misses if you report, if you see the triangle out here, The larger the base, that means you're reporting more of these unsafe conditions, unsafe acts, and you are creating remedial actions for those. So the taper out, very less incidents and accidents happening. Next, please. Here we have the list of rigs which are reporting the incidents, which have been recorded and analyzed, and further ahead in this program, where there'll be a few more, presentations from the key incidents which have been shared in this forum for everybody's learning. Next, please. Next, please. Vikram. Again, an analysis by the body part of the injuries. If you see the hand and finger injuries are the brunt, the maximum part of any analysis which we have been doing is the hand and finger injury. 50% they contribute to the total accident which are happening. And sir, would like to appraise you, sir. HSC drilling section has taken a step and initiative to process the case for impact resistant hand gloves, and the PO has been placed, and as soon as I think within another 30 days we'll be receiving those impact resistant hand gloves. We'll be distributing to all our rigs. That's another step to try to control the hand and finger injury. But again, like I said, PP is not the only thing which we can prevent these injuries from happening. We have been conducting awareness sessions, how to position yourself, how to realize that there is a hazard. You should know where you're putting your hand in, how you have to put your hand and how to place your hands. All these, we have been doing in those interactive sessions with the workforce, sir. Next. Yeah, like it was said earlier, the DOIRC sessions, we had 2 for offshore, 1 on onshore, and this is the 3rd offshore DOIRC which is being done. So previous DOIRC recommendations, the incidents, learning from incidents which were there were shared with all the rigs in operation, and this is the compliance of the recommendations given. It's not that this one incident, one recommendation is not applicable to me. Well, I will focus only on my recommendations. We have taken measures to make sure that all the rigs do active, compliances of the recommendations which are there. This is a very good example for that, sir. The records, we are monitoring each and everything. We are keeping records, we are tracking them. The next, please. Next slide, please. And here, sir, this is with evidence. We are not only taking the details whether these compliances have been made or not. We are taking evidences from our partners and our rigs, what the recommendations they have complied or not. So this is a slide for that, sir. Next. Next. Initiatives and achievements by our drilling services group. By our means, when we say not only ONGC, our business partners, we as a team, Drilling Services Mumbai, under the stewardship of our CDS, deep water and shallow water. What are the initiatives and achievements of our group are showcased here. I won't be going through, speaking out. The figures are self-explanatory. The different rigs, the uptime data from April to September 2022. This is for the Jindal Group. Next, please. Again, Jindal Group. And here the great ship. Please, I will not be going through because of time constraint, I will not be going through the details. It's self-explanatory. This will be shared with each and every one. This is for foresight drilling. It's a dynamic drilling, and what efforts and what initiatives the rigs are taking, our partners are taking, we are taking as drilling services to improve the safety awareness and the safety culture for our workforce. This is shelf drilling. Quite impressive figures. If I start, reading all of them, I'll be occupying and I'm taking a lot of space out here. So these are all to be read and will be shared with everyone. Next, please. Before I say thank you, I would like to add one more thing over here. ONGC has taken good preemptive actions for ensuring safe operations. Stop card system has been implemented within ONGC with effect from July 2022. And what will a stop card help us do? It will enable us to focus on unsafe acts, unsafe conditions to improve safety performance. All personnel are empowered by this, the system which we have implemented, PAN ONGC. All personnel are empowered to stop any unsafe act or condition and take appropriate action to mitigate the risk. That's that, I would say, a very, very good initiative taken. We have been speaking a lot about safety, but now we are doing it on the ground. Another initiative which we are taking, that a lot of observations had come that the incident classification is only major, minor, fatal. We have taken a step further and we have improved and the recording in incident in SAP. We have already started first aid case. Uday, this is for you especially. When you had given a feedback that, these are, Randeep also, they had said that these has to be segregated. And we are doing it, sir, now. First aid case, medical treatment case, LTIs, there are bifurcation of the incidents. Again, the near miss also are being bifurcated as near miss, high potential near miss. And now we are not only reporting, earlier there was a system in SAP only to report near miss, but now we are reporting unsafe conditions. We are reporting unsafe acts. We are reporting hazards. And we are reporting high potential near misses. Not only I should, find out from a near miss or list of 1,000 near miss, which is the high potential. The people who are themselves reporting, they say this is a high potential near miss. These are very, very good initiatives, and this is an indicative, sir, about the safety and enhanced awareness amongst the workforce and all over PAN ONGC. So last but not the least, before I say thank you, sir, I would request every leader in this room and online, we all need to commit to a safe workplace, and whatever required to achieve this should be put in place. And this is not a end of the initiatives which are doing. We'll be carrying on with these initiatives much further, sir, to create a safe workforce, safe environment for our workforce, sir. Thank you very much.
I think we're going to have a little break in the sense. There may be questions there, but just hold on. RS, just hold on for your question. I have question. I'm sure everybody has a question, but I have a lot of questions to ask you. So yeah, before that, let's Mano take over for a
short
minute.
break. I know. We just want to. So what we want to do now, we want to bring Delhi back online. Our chairman, Mr. O.P. Singh, has to leave. So we want to present him with a token of appreciation from IDC South Central Asia chapter. So I would request if we can have Delhi on the screen.
Delhi.
Mr. O.P. Singh. I would like to ask Mr. Narinder Jindal, Vice Chairman of IDC, to come on the stage to present the token of appreciation. Shobha, if you can come on the stage and give the token to Mr. Jindal. And I would like to request Mr. V.V. Prasad. I would like to request Mr. V.V. Prasad to come on the stage and accept the token on behalf of our Chairman IDC and Director Technology and Field Services. Thank you.
Sir, with your permission, I am taking on your behalf.
good morning everybody, and thank you for coming in number today for this fourth DOIRC meet. As you all know, when we were finalizing the date, we were having doubt whether people will come in number because of the festive season. But I am very happy to note that the hall is full and people have come in number. As Mr. Singh has to go, and I have a duty to do a vote of thanks, so I will do for him. So as soon as Mr. Singh took as a chairman of IADC South Central Asia chapter, and we had a meeting, I suggested that we must have a DOIRC because I had an idea from PDO days where I was working earlier, and he immediately agreed, not only agreed to the idea, he became passionate, he has guided us, and he has been a force behind whatever we have achieved today on this DOIRC in South Central Asia chapter, along with the help of ONGC and especially the leadership of Mr. O.P. Singh. As Mr. Prasad rightly said, this is the fourth DOIRC meet in 1 year, 2 physical offshore here in Mumbai, 1 online and 1 physical onshore. And our idea is to have quarterly DOIRC meeting going forward. And I'm sure with his commitment, guidance, and the force behind all of us, we will be able to achieve. And the idea is not to conduct the DOIRC meeting, but idea is to share the learning, learn from those mistakes done by somebody else, and don't repeat, and improve the safety culture. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for guiding us, coaching us, mentoring us, and be force behind us. And I'm sure we will achieve much more than what we have achieved to build a safety culture onshore, offshore, our rigs here in India. Thank you, sir.
Singh Sahab has anything to say?
So thank you, Mr. Prasad. Received the token of appreciation on behalf of Mr. O.P. Singh, Director TNFS. I think I was not audible at that time in Delhi. So Singh Sahab, can you hear me now? I think he needs. Can we unmute? Just 1 minute, sir. We are going to unmute you.
Manav, I think Mr. Singh has to unmute him. If he can do it from his side.
Randeep? Off it. So we are having some audio issues. We will go ahead with the I think we'll go ahead. We'll go ahead. So
Okay.
we apologize for the audio.
All right. Good.
So I'd like to request Mr. Dadial to come back on at the podium.
Yes. Array, there is an echo here. Why is the echo there? Okay. So thank you, RS, for the showing the statistics. I know statistics is important. There is an echo. Yeah, multiple. Yes, now it's fine. Thank you. So statistics are very important for us because they give us the data that we need to look at in terms of analyzing our incident there, look at the trends and look at the key focus area that we should focus on. And you have seen that Mr. R.S. Dadial has shown 50% of the incident were on hands and finger. And ONGC has launched a campaign of hands and finger campaign, which again was something good to do that, because this is how you get the data. You get the data, from the data you analyze it and you look at, okay, what we need to do next now to make sure that we stop having these kind of incident happening, which was good on hands and finger. Now before I ask some question to RS, anybody has any question to RS Dadial there? Okay, safety critical, sorry, go ahead. Mike, please.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Kuldeep Rohila. How are you, sir? This is regarding the near-miss targets. In ONGC, we have, targets of near misses. How justified is that, to putting a target for near miss? Is it good to have targets so that, I can report this much near misses I have to report in a month or a quarter or a week? How justifies it that? Because, when I have a pressure of a target, I might be, losing the sanctity of reporting near misses. Your comments, please.
Yeah, that's a very good question, sir. Targets, when we start some campaigns, if you must have noticed that there must have been a lull in the near miss reporting in the first place. And then when you have to get something started, that shows that there is a safety awareness lacking maybe. People are still not reporting near misses. And if you are not getting any near misses getting reported, then, कभी-कभी वो डंडा चलाना पड़ता है, सर. कभी-कभी डंडा चलाना पड़ेगा कि भाई आपको ये टारगेट है कि आप नियर मिस रिपोर्ट करिए. नियर मिसेस cannot be fabricated. आपको जो है आइडेंटिफाई करने हैं. There may be some things, what can happen to me with this? Nothing. People just walk on. But here, when you say that you are target, sir, आपको एक 4 near miss report करने हैं, तो you will look out something. You will look out for things which are, unsafe conditions. At times, people don't bother about unsafe conditions or unsafe acts which are being done. मेरे को क्या फर्क पड़ता है? I don't care. I am safe. But here, when we are talking about enhancing the safety culture, और शुरू में सर आपको चलाना पड़ेगा डंडा कि आपको टारगेट देना पड़ेगा. But eventually, now if you see the things are being fine-tuned, and people will come out of their own. When you are starting the stop card, and people have you are empowering the people to say, okay, I stop the work here, it's unsafe for me. This is an unsafe condition. This is an unsafe act which has to be rectified, then only I'll be going ahead. So near miss reporting targets are now not in vogue, I would say, not justified, but even if still people are not reporting near misses, so you have to focus on why they are not reporting, why the awareness is not there. डर रहे हैं कि क्या कर रहे हैं क्या नहीं कर रहे, बट आपको उनको या तो एनहांसमेंट करनी पड़ेगी अवेयरनेस की. अगर आपने रिपोर्टिंग अगर ऑटोमेटिकली स्टार्ट कर दी, सेल्फ मोटिवेशन हो गया, तो आपको टारगेट देने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी, सर. So that's my answer to your question, sir.
That's a very good question. It's a very good question. Near misses are supposed to be encouraged. Near misses happens, then you report to them. When it happens, you learn from it, you report from that. It's a free lesson learned, as somebody used to say. Mike, please. Mike.
Sir, this is Jayant from Shramji. So I just want to reiterate, you have already answered the question, but my thing is related to the behavior. And I think it is absolutely necessary to put those objectives to say every person has to report whatever number that you want to put, 24, 36, 48, you have to report. Now, what this does, it brings a behavioral change where, like you said, people will start looking for things. Now, maybe 60, 70, 80% of these will be trivial issues, but you will still get about 10, 12 incidents which could potentially be very dangerous story. We have implemented it, we have tried it for nearly 10 years, and trust me, sir, it brings wonderful value of safety, not only within the company that you are working for, but also for the industry in general. So I'll request in a central forum, there should be enforcement to say you have to report, or each person has to report 12 or 24, irrespective of. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for endorsing the view that you have to implement it. Yeah.
Quickly, any other question? One more question. Oh, I think we have a lot of challenges with the audio video today. I think this is the first time we are having a challenges with the audio video too much. Yeah, I think last question, then we move forward. I agree. We have to keep the time in mind because we got a lot to cover, and I'm sure a time will come you will feel hungry and you will ask me that I want to go to food. I can't let you go till the time we finish. So let's respect the time and the timeline given. Sir, before you ask the question, when we start the next presentation, can I request all presenters to stick to your timeline given to you there? And I'm going to show you hand. That means you're coming to the end there and I have to stop you there. Otherwise, we won't be able to complete our agenda. Please go ahead.
I'm Paritosh Nath, Head of HSE Jindal Drilling. My question is, just like you have changed your nomenclature on first aid case, instead of calling minor incident, major incident and such, first aid case, then you have medical treatment case and so on and so forth. Similarly, for this near miss as per the industry norms is that an incident has happened and nobody got hurt. That is a near miss. I think we should change the nomenclature here also. You know, we report, what we report by stop cards is unsafe behavior, safe behavior, unsafe conditions. So same thing here, near miss should not be used so loosely. Near miss means an incident has happened. So can we just do away with this common culture of near miss and report unsafe acts and unsafe conditions, which is a behavior-based system.
No, thank you very much. Really respect the question there, but with the paucity of the time, I think let's take it when we have a lunch there. I'm sure your answer could be given by Mr. R.S. Dadiyal. So thank you, R.S. I think we'll go to the Manav now for the next session. Thank you.
Thanks. So we start off with our occupational safety incidents now. We have 3 of them. The first one, the first presenter is Jishnu Shaji. He's a QHSE manager with dynamic drilling. He's a mechanical engineer with a postgraduate degree in HSE from UPES Dehradun and started his career as an engineering trainee initially. Jishnu?
Thank you, sir, for the introduction. So, a very warm good morning to all. So, we had this incident on Victory Driller on 28th April. So, one of the rustabout, he was injured. The incident happened during the fire drill. The fire drill was going on, and after completion of the fire drill, when the abandon alarm was being made, the injured person was moving towards the lifeboat station with his fire team. So during the movement, what happened is he lost his footing and he fell on the main deck. So in order to prevent himself from falling, he used his left hand to support. So in that process, his left hand took the load, and after completion of the drill, the IP was reported to the sick bay, and first aid was being given by the rig medic, and he was being evacuated for further medical evaluation. And a timeout for safety was being made to it was being conducted with the crew to discuss about the complacency while doing regular jobs. Then coming to the findings, the condition of the walkway and shoe sole was found satisfactory. The injured person was an experienced and skilled employee with a work experience of 3 years. And he has already taken part in a lot of fire drills before also. But the main reason for this incident was his lack of alertness and lack of risk perception and awareness and his complacency while doing a regular job. Now coming to the recommendations. Then one awareness sessions were held with the crew to discuss about the gravity of the issue. And this subject was frequently discussed in the pre-tour meetings and weekly safety meetings to sensitize the crew. Now we are analyzing the stop cards to identify the areas where crew require training and for training identification purposes. And SOP is clearly communicated to the whole crew that no personnel is allowed to run during an emergency drill. Now coming to the recommendations, the crew must be given training on behavior-based safety and slip and trip hazards in workplace, which also includes reporting of minor unsafe acts too. Then risk assessment should be done effectively even for regular jobs, and supervisors should ensure the same. The walkways and work areas should be always clear of obstructions, and this could be achieved only by good housekeeping practices. And finally, all potential trip hazards and work area must be properly identified and marked. So that's all from my side. Any questions?
Thank you, Jishnu.
Thank
Any
you.
question there anybody has there? So this may look like a very, I think Jayan Malhotra was talking about trivial, is simple incident there, but has the impact on. Now, when you talk about a lot of responsibility has been given as action on the supervisor there. If you go and not talk to the supervisor, he's going to tell you that what are the challenges and issues that he is facing or she is facing there. So Jishnu, can you tell me what was the deck condition? I see the picture. If the picture is of during the incident happened there, is that deck condition was good?
The deck condition was good. The deck condition, we checked this shoe sole also. It was also good. What happened is his footing just got in a wrong way and he just fall by himself. Actually, he was doing a night shift and it was just 1 hour left for his shift to end. So, and maybe because of that, that could have added to the reasons.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you look at it, you may think that what is the learning for me in this incident? You know, people go walking, we have a drill there, people walk towards the safety boards or the live boards there and then finish the drill there, and this incident happened, so what? But the reason for putting this incident, one is, this was not a simple incident, wasn't a first aid case. The person was injured badly there and evacuation happened there. Person has to be taken out then away from work. Okay? So learning a lot there, that talking to the people in the rig site there, making sure that people are paying attention to about their surroundings. The important thing is situation awareness. It's all about situation awareness that it has to be raised to the team in the field there. And I think stop card, that I'm sure everyone, we call it smart card, stop card, whatever name you give it, is one of the wonderful tools that our industry has. But I still think that it's not been effectively and fully utilized. It has got a lot of tremendous opportunities there that we can use this tool to help us out in terms of not having these kind of incident happening there, and we can stop injuring the people. Thank you, Jishnu.
Thank you.
Mano? Thank you. Well done.
The next presenter on occupational safety is Thomas Sheridan Jr. from Constellation. He's a mechanical engineer, graduate of the Catholic Pontifical University of Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, an MBA in Business Administration from FGV, again in Rio de Janeiro, 25 years in the oil field, 17 of them managing different types of rigs like jackups, moored semi-subs, DP semi-subs, and DP drill ships. He also served 2 years as business unit HR manager, responsible for all HR matters in West Africa for the countries of Angola, Congo, and Gabon. Welcome, Thomas.
This one? This one? Okay. Yeah, good morning all. Thanks for coming here, and thanks for the opportunity to share this incident that happened on the Olinda Star. Hope by the end of it you can also take the learnings, taking the experience to discuss with your units and in your workplace as well. Despite of all the efforts we do every day to prevent incidents, it's still happening. So I think this is the right forum to discuss and learn. Okay, on the 28th of June, the job to be done was to just clean the sea chests on the column number 4 and the strainer, clean the sea chest strainer. This is a job that you usually do every 3 months, so it's not a routine job, but at the same time, it's something that is done very often on this type of unit. So the IP doing this job, his 26 years experience on that position as a seaman, and he was already 5 years working with Olinda Star. So not a new guy. He was on the hitch for 12 days already, and so on his injury was his left leg, and he actually broke the tibia on it. So basically, like I said, the operation at the time was to do this sea chest cleaning. So they first go on and close the main gate valve and start draining the water. So basically, we have a small platform where he actually went to close the valve, and there is another place where he opens the strainer and get the water out. During this process, he thought that was taking too much time, so he came with the bosun and decided to give a little bit more close, or he thought that the valve could be still not closed sufficiently. So they both decide to go to this platform and give a little bit more effort to tidy up the valve. At that time, so I can show you here. No? Okay. So at that time, he was using a F-type spanner. This is a F-type spanner is a normal use for this type of wheeling valve. In this particular case, as you see on the picture, is not industry-made one. It's a rig-made one. So this is one of the contributing factors, but not what caused the event. So basically, 2 of these guys were on this platform trying to close the valve. One using his hand, and the other one used this F-type. The valve was already being closed, and due to the energy that he put to close the valve, the spanner slipped, the tool slipped, and he lost his balance falling from the platform on the deck. So that is the platform. As you can see, there is no protection around. This is a very congested area. Where he faces, his back is straight to the bulkhead on the column, and on the other side, you can see on the right side, you have the pipeline. So that area, usually that platform is for one person. This is as built on the rig since the rig was built, and was never identified as a possible hazard. So you can see that during the investigation, this is one of the points. You know, sometimes things are built like that and we don't see that hazard, you know. We simply don't see it, don't pay attention to it. But again, 2 guys working in this small platform. can see the size from where the picture was. It's no place for two people. So that's where he slipped, and then he fell. That platform was around 2 meters from the deck. The area where he fell was 1.8 meters. He was put stable. It was on the column 4, difficult access to get a guy immobilized and taken back, so it was a difficult operation due to the area where it was, you know. So he was emergency evacuated, and he is now still doing his physiotherapy. He's already fit to fly, he's already fit to do administrative work, but he's still not back on the rig. He's still recovering on that. So these are the findings that I want to show you when we did the investigation. And on the permit to work, the guy actually put it, the two guys, the bosun, his direct supervisor, and him, they identify that the possibility to fall from a height, from a different level. But during the job, he was still not wearing his harness, even though he identified that on the permit. So that was one of the things. The procedure of work, we do have a procedure of work for heights, and if it's 2 meters or high, he must wear his harness. That was identified by himself on the permit, but not followed. The not identified, as I said, as a design of the rig was made like that. Nobody identified that platform could be a problem or could be a risk for anybody working on that. So it was taken for granted that was built for that, and nobody actually acted on it over the years. So improper body position, there were 2 people on the platform that can only hold one. The improper use of the tool, you know, like if you have a gate valve like that, and we tested the gate valve just after the incident, and you can close and open by hand. One person open and close it immediately, totally. So if you're trying to use a tool and the valve is already fully closed, the energy you are putting on the tool or on the system, the energy cannot just simply disappear. It will go for somewhere. That energy he put made the tool slip because they couldn't close the valve anymore. The valve was already closed. So that is one of the things as well. You know, the routine work, compliance, yes, both of them working there, 26 years in this industry doing this type of job, felt that nothing would happen to him. He marked it down on a permit to work, but guess what? I'm a lone worker. I'm working in a column that nobody's checking. If nobody's checking, what I'm going to do? Should I take all the precautions that the procedure says? Should I actually do that, or I just do this way quick and nobody knows? So I think this is one of the important messages. What people do when they are not being supervised. What we are actually doing when we are putting people working by themselves in restricted areas. How we are checking their work. So this is one of the big learnings for us on that. The remedial actions, not only we design the platform, but we cover all the rig. Everywhere we could think that it was an issue in terms of design or danger to anybody working on a height, we mapped it and we took action on it. Also, we train everybody again on the procedure for the permit to work. Now we have an online permit to work system, and also we take away the possibility of direct supervisor to issue the permit. That permit can only be done now and open by the chief of the area, the full department head on it, and he has to audit that permit from time to time, which means he has to be on the site. Also, during the permit to work meetings we do 24 hours before now, we select all the critical works, are identified, and we identify the supervisor who is going to be doing the audit of that job during the day. That is to increase visibility, that's to increase the coaching of our guys, you know, so that's what we are doing as well to promote safety. So the recommendations, as I mentioned here, we reviewed the permit to work audits and the Step 7 process and the hazard hunts. So now not only the supervisors do the Step 7 and the hazard hunts, he takes a junior crew with him all the time during those done. This is done daily. Every week, each supervisor has 1 day of the week. He takes a junior crew with him and do the Step 7 and the hazard hunts. That is to promote you know, the conscience of safety, and also to show the guys what to see. Because we see sometimes that we expect people to identify hazards just like that, but we don't train them what to observe. So the idea of having a senior guy and a junior guy together is exactly that, to promote that. Increase the routine of the Step 7, especially with critical tasks. We permit to work, like I mentioned, only the department heads now can open the permits. The risk assessment on site is required. On the site, if it's in column 4, they have to be there. Not only the people that are doing the job, but the safety officers and all that, and also planning the audits during that task. No more lone workers, no more people doing jobs by themselves in restricted areas. This is the platform after we intervene. So, before and after. This is from different areas where we have our completions work. There was a deck space as well for the guys to work. So before was a completely open deck. We actually put it barriers as well. That was one of the identifications. On the mud pump room, this is a normal picture, but we identified that the guy can actually slip from behind. So we actually made also the protection, you know. We did the exercise and the training with everybody on the job now. And basically that's it. Sorry.
Thank you. Thank you. So when I was reviewing this incident, I think I found this is one of the quality of the investigation, and the transparent and open reporting is also very important in the incident, so that we get the learning, we get the true learning out of it, and those recommendations, the action that everybody can implement in their location there. And I think this is what comes out from this incident there, because possibly of the time, if anybody has a question, I can give a time for one question, if anybody has a question. Okay, so reflection for me on this incident there to you is number one, a lone worker, and I think this is lone worker is a really a big risk in our operation now, and I've seen that a lot when I worked in Oman there and in Australia also there. Lone workers, somebody, you know, and like he talked about, he had a permit to work system in place, everything was there, but incident happened, a serious incident happened. This is a violation. Somebody has said that he's going to use the safety harness, not use the safety harness. I think that's where the disciplinary action comes in. I'm sure in their organization also happened there that why did not follow that. But I think the lone worker, if you look at it, going back to your installation, going back to your workplaces, going back to your office, think about it. Are we paying enough attention and focus to the lone worker? This is the area to pay attention, because I have seen a lot of incident happening in this area. Thank you so much there for this presentation there.
So we are now to the third and final speaker of the occupational incidents presentations. I would like to introduce Shekhar Chandra Sharma. He is GM Drilling, presently rig manager of Sagar Jyoti. He has worked in many locations in India with ONGC in the past: Ankleshwar, Vadodara, Sibsagar, Rajamundry, Jorhat, and he's been in Mumbai for the last 7 years. Welcome, Mr. Sharma.
Hello. Good morning, sirs. I'm Shekhar Sharma, working with Sagar Jyoti as rig manager. And there was an incident on 24th August when this was LTI. This gentleman, IP, was having 10 years, more than 10 years of experience in ONGC, and it was his 4th or 5th day. So these two guys were just removing one tubing from one of the areas, which is on the left side. You can see the container and all those things are there. So one tubing was to be taken out for local in-house fabrication. They had placed two belts, and while lifting, one of the belts got snapped, and this the belt broke up, and this tubing recorded, and it bounced and hit this IP, which is here, somewhere here. Yes, fine, sir. So if you can see the arrow in the center, above this mute button. So the IP was there, and he got hurt. His helmet got broken, and then he stood up, and along with his colleague, he went to the rig medic, and then from there he was given first aid, and then medevac chopper was called off. He went to the hospital, and after 2 days he was discharged from the hospital, and he went home. The total time till admission to the hospital, and he was totally conscious, nothing more than that, and his helmet has basically saved his head. The next one. This, as I told you, he had walked to the dispensary along with his colleague, and the finding is that both the belts were good, and we had this belt of having a 3-ton capacity, and this was of a same type belt. Means this is a photograph of same type belt, and the finding is that there was some communication failure was there. One end of the tubing was snagged in between, in the earlier photograph we have seen, which is both the signalman and the crane operator did not see. So that has resulted to the bouncing of the tubing and hitting the head. Tagline was also not used. Next, please. Now, the recommendations are that the crew should be been attentive, because while signaling, he should have also seen the condition of the tubing, the position of the tubing. The tagline was not used, and the communication basically it is the main factor, because the crane operator cannot see from an height because of some obstructions, because of the space constraints. And after that, the belts were kept in an closed cupboard and all those things, dry, clean and dry, and they are inspected on regular basis. This is what we see in this belt, the broken belt. This also.
Thank you, Mr. Sharma. Any question? I'm sure there are a lot of obvious questions. Lot was not followed there. Many things were not followed, which is simple, basic things were not followed there. And I think it's again very open and transparent way of presenting it there. It's not hiding anything there. This is what happened there, and these are the learnings. It's up to us now how we take the learning back to our location there and try to make sure that we don't repeat the incident happening there. But just wanted to share something, my experience there, talking about the nylon belt or the webbing sling. These webbing slings are always to be used under permit to work. You know, these are never used without permit to a system there. And that's what I was talking to Mr. Sharma also, because they are very fragile and they can be misused because they have a specific purpose to be used. They are only to be used where you cannot use the wire rope slings, which is on a wire wrap screen or some delicate stuff that you want to raise it or take it to the rig floor. Otherwise, you should be using the certified wire rope slings, because to maintain these webbing slings is not easy. In the environment they are in, it's not easy to maintain them. And once you start keep using them, if you don't inspect them, if you don't discard them, if you don't scrap them in time, they end up in result like this. I'm not saying this webbing sling was bad or nylon belt was bad, but point I'm saying is the use of webbing sling has to be under control condition, which is basically under permit to work. The reason is because there comes the pair of eyes there, supervision comes in there, and then you look at the visual inspection before you use the webbing sling. Thank you, Mr. Sharma.
We'll have a short break now for tea and coffee. It's a 5-minute break, toilet break. So we'd request everyone if you can come back quickly because we're already running behind schedule. And then we'll go on to the well-controlled incidents after that. Thank you.
check. बंद कर दो. Check. Excuse me, can I have everybody here, please? Guys, if you want lunch in time, you got to be here on your seat in time now, please. Thank you. Everybody. Excuse me, can we have everybody seated?
Gentlemen.
Can we start, please?
Gentlemen.
Let's start. Start with the.
I'm going to request everyone if you can take your seats. Do we have a bell? Okay. I request everyone if they can take their seats, please. We will have some time during lunch for networking. Mobile ka alarm chal raha hai.
Mobile ka alarm laga
Mobile
do.
ka alarm.
That is the best way to do it.
So thank you for taking your seats. And if I can also request the people who are outside, if they can please come in. Yeah, if I can request the people standing in the middle, kindly take your seats. Thank you. So now we're going to.
Can we get on the seat, please? Can I request you to please take your seat? We are getting delayed now. Please take your seat. Zubair, please take your seat.
Actually, we have some very
Everyone,
interesting.
please take your seat. Take your coffee or tea in your hand on your chair. Please take it with you. Thank you so much. Everyone, come on, guys. Go take your seat. Jishnu, go take your seat.
We have very interesting two presentations coming up on well-controlled incidents. The first one is from Abhijit Debbarma. He's a mechanical engineer from the Northeast Regional Institute of Science and Technology in Itanagar. He's been with ONGC for 12 years and has worked in drilling rigs both onshore and offshore. Since 2017, for the last 5 years, he's a member of the Regional Crisis Management team in Mumbai. So, Abhijit, welcome to the stage. Thank you.
Thank you, Manav sir, for introducing me. A very warm welcome and good morning to you all. The incident which I will be presenting is a well-controlled incident. It happened recently in an offshore rig. We are not naming any rig out here. The well-controlled incident is having, the perforation is going on and we have a shooting nipple in the well. Giving you a brief history of this well. This well was drilled up to a target depth of 2695 meter. And 5 objects have been released for testing. And first object has been taken up for testing through TCP DST. The string was lowered up to a depth of 2650 meter. And due to observe some discrepancy in correlated oil line, correlated depth after oil line correlation during space out of the string. Now it has been decided to test the DCP-TST string. During testing of the DCP-TST string, it has been observed that there is some communication with the string with the annulus, because the gun got fired and there is some communication. It has been confirmed by bleeding the annulus, where we are getting some waxy return. So it has been decided to pull out that TCP-DST string and re-perforate the object again. So we have pull out the TCP-DST string and previous slide. Previous. So we have pulled out the string, and after pull out, we are finding that the whale is stable at 9.9 ppg brine. During this period, we have also done a run with a 6-inch bit up to the landing collar. Till that time, the whale was stable. The whale was stable at 9.9 ppg brine. So we decided to carry out the re-perforation of object 1 by conventional perforation oil line method. Immediately after perforation, during pull out of the oil line, the well got active. During that period, we have closed the annular BOP. We have got the shut-in pressure up to 1200 psi. After that, we don't allow the pressure to go up. This is not a stabilized pressure. We don't allow the pressure to go up because the pack-off assembly which is used in the oil line is tested up to 1200 psi only. So at 1200 psi, we started bleeding and lubrication method. During bleeding and lubrication method, we are not able to pump anything. Whatever we are pumping, it is coming out. During bleeding, we are bleed and we are getting, this is the return which you are actually getting at the return line during bleeding. So what are the constraints that we can't able to do the bleeding and lubrication? See, first is what is the maximum pressure we can go is up to 1200 psi only due to the limitation of the pack-off assembly. Moreover, the shooting nipple which is being used is too long. You can see in the picture, it is around 13.1 meter. So it is crossing our shear blind ram also. So in that case, we can't go beyond that pressure. We can't operate another ram also. So what the RCMT team have decided that we want to, we'll operate the shear blind ram and shear the shooting nipple and do the rest of the well killing operation. So according to the plan, we have operated the shear blind ram and sheared the shooting nipple. For well safety, we have also locked the locking screw of the BOPs. We have also removed the remaining portion of the shooting nipple along with the oil line and the pack-off assembly. And after closing the shear blind ram, what stabilized pressure we are getting is 1600 psi only. We have attempted bulldozing up to 2500 psi, but we are not getting any success, not getting any injectivity actually. Now considering the pressure which you are actually getting on the surface plus the hydrostatic of the 9.9 ppg calcium chloride brine which you are using, the pressure is coming around 6072 psi. Considering there is only single barrier in the system right now, so we have also replaced the upper pipe ram, that is a variable ram with a blind ram assembly, since it become our second line of safety in the well. Again tried to bulldoze the well from 250 psi to 5000 psi, but since the hermetical test has been done up to 6000 psi, but still we are not getting any injectivity with that pressure also. Finally, we decided to bleed off the well to check the well waiver, whether the well is flowing at what rate. So I bleed off the pressure in stages and found that the well is flowing at the rate of 1.5 barrel per 15 minutes. Again, we have attempted to bulldoze the well, and at 1300 psi, there is a sudden drop of pressure up to 2700 psi. We have checked all the surface lines, whether the surface lines are okay or not. I confirmed that the surface lines are okay, and we finally achieved the injectivity, and finally we bulldozed that well with 16 ppg mud and observed the well for 4 hours. Since there was no activity, we have opened the BOP, and finally the remaining portion of the fishing tool which has been left in the well, we have fished it out by by fabricating an unconventional fishing tool in the rig itself, and finally the rig was under operation by recovering the fish. Now, in this activity, what actually goes wrong? The causes of the incident, the main cause, the well was perforated in an underbalanced condition. See, we have perforated the well in 9.9 ppg brine, whereas during drilling in the same depth, the drilling mud well is around 13.9 ppg. Moreover, finally there was no barrier in the well line stack. The pack of assembly is used, but it is not considered as a barrier. It is not a tested barrier. No mechanical barrier, no oil line BOP is there. Moreover, the shooting nipple which is being used is too long. It is crossing the SBR. So, the SBR is also not cleared. Now, what is the learning which you have learned from this? SOPs during oil line perforation was not followed. As per OSD guidelines, regulatory or governing offshore oil line operation requires use of one oil line BOP, which is not being used. Moreover, sufficient overbalance in the well is not maintained. As per OSD guideline RPO 174, whenever during conventional production testing, wells should be perforated with adequate overbalance, which was not maintained during perforation of the well. Moreover, there should be two tested barrier during any operation. It is also as per the well control practices, there should be two tested barrier, which was not there in line during the perforation operation. Moreover, whenever a shooting nipple is used, as per well control practices, the shooting nipple should be landed in such a way that it should be clear of the shear blind ram, so that in case of any eventuality, we can operate the shear blind ram. Now, since this is the first incident which is being presented in DOIRC on well control platform, we think we have learned something from the mistakes which we have done in this well control incident, and do not repeat those mistakes again. As everyone out here, everyone common goal is to finish our work and return to our family safely. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Abhijit. Any question? I'm sure you will have a question there, and I expect the question. It's not just me who has a question, but I'm sure people sitting in this room, they're all well qualified in terms of the well control, and they know. So it's clearly shown there what did not work. It's very clearly shown there. Basically, the barriers were not in place and they were not working. So I think the big learning from here is, and I'm going to be sharing with you when I do my presentation on classification of the well control incident, the barrier, which is two barrier he talked about. There should be at any given time in the well, there should be two barrier, be it inside the string or outside the string. And those barrier should be tested. Like he said, they were not tested. So the thing is this, why are we doing this operation when we know that this is not in place, right? So there is huge learning here in terms of everybody sitting here, be it a business partner or be it an operating company which is ONGC here. You know, as a business partner there, if you think that there is a situation that can have a risk there or can have a, risk of having a well control incident there, I think you should raise the hand there, said we should put some barrier in place, some control measure in place before we continue the operation. This is just one operation. If you look at well intervention, you look at well workover, we are always working with the live well. So these are the wells you are drilling. You have cased the hole, you have perforated in a controlled condition, though it was under balance, which is normally happens there as long as you have barrier surfaces. If you had a shooting nipple which was the right height, and you can manage with SBR, shear blind ram, this is fine. Underbalance perforation is an operation which is carried out. There's nothing wrong in that. As long as you got a two barrier, and those barriers are working. In this case, shooting nipple was too long, pack off was not tested. So there were barriers not in place there. So like we said, we're going to be talking about the well control incident going forward from the next DOIRC also, be it onshore, offshore. I think there are a lot of learnings here that I would expect everyone sitting in this room and also whosoever is still on the line now, they should go back and check there because they said SOP not followed. Now if you got a SOP there, if you're not following the SOP, what is the point of having a SOP in place? There has to be some accountability there. There has to be some accountability and ownership of what we're doing there on the site, which is not happening here. So we got to make sure, take the learning from it. All the lesson learned will be shared with you by our ONGC, and again they will go through the process of ATR and capturing it. You need to demonstrate that, as a business partner, you got everything in place as a barrier. Now it is the responsibility of the E&P company, which is ONGC. They need to make sure they also have the barrier in place when they bring the tools to the rig, be it a lubricator there or be it anything else there. Like he said, there was no BOP there, lubrication BOP there, a wireline BOP. If you had that in place, that's the one barrier for you straight away. So there are huge learning, but I'm really happy to say that, and thank you to ONGC for openly presenting it there. We have not named the rig there. This is RCMT. So this investigation by the crisis management team doesn't mean that it is ONGC rig or it is a business partner rig. What we are saying is, what are the learning from the incident? And there are huge learning. If you look at it, there are n number of learnings. He has only put 4 or 5 there. But if I go through it, I'm going to put it about 20 learnings in this incident. 20 learnings from this incident. So it is up to us now, sitting in this room as a leader, that we go back and start going through this, analyze this incident there, and then talk to the right people there, maybe RCMT, they can help you out for that. You know, they will share more data with you, more information, so that we don't have repeat of this incident happening again. Anything anybody has to say or add? Otherwise, thank you, Abhijit.
Thank you.
So we are now coming to the second and final presentation of our well-control incidents from Prashant Modgare. He's an MTech in Mechanical Engineering from NIT Nagpur. He's been with ONGC for more than 24 years, worked in Mumbai offshore in Assam. He's also worked as a faculty in the well-control school at IDT Dehradun, which is well known. Everybody in India has gone to that school. And while he was in IDT, he was also associated with gas hydrates under the NGHP, National Gas Hydrate Program. He's published 2 SP papers as lead author. Currently, he's the head of the crisis management team in Mumbai for the last 6 or 7 months. Welcome, Prashant. I forgot to add, he's also very active with SPE. That's how I first met Prashant many years ago, because I think he served in many positions as office bearer of the SPE chapter in Dehradun when he was with IDT. So we used to keep meeting in SP conferences all the time.
Thank you, Manav, and giving my brief presentation. I also thanks Manav for giving the warm tea break, because you know that my presentation going to freeze you now. So we need a break for that. Thank you very much. Respected Director, EDCDS, Shallow Waters, Sri Sanjay Bhatt sir, all senior officers, drilling contractors. This is a big learning. Both the cases, the well activity happened during the perforation. See, nowadays, IOGP, International Oil and Gas Producers, they have specifically mentioned in IWC forum also what are the critical operations that are going to happen. So one of the critical operations that are mentioned is the perforation job. After the perforation, both the cases, if you compare the situation, both the cases happened during pulling out operation. You know that worldwide statistic is that most of the blowout or well control incident happened during pulling out operation. So let us discuss the case now. So this is the special well control incident, or we can say it is a unconventional well activity happen, or we have done, a crisis management team has done. A freezing job that was done first time in India with a nitrogen freezing plug. We have used in Sivsagar, Galki field. This is the very toughest field in India. Most of you, those who have worked in the Sivsagar, they know that how difficult it is work to in Sivsagar. So this will happen on 29 June 2022. I think it's not working. Sorry. So this is the case of a worko rig. Again, the rig was perforated, object 1. After the perforation at the interval of 4697 meter via TCP, here the case only that this is a PB convert perforation. And after the perforation, the well was stabilized with the pressure of 4350 psi. The only difference is that here we have a full of formation water. See the difference, huh? It's a full of formation water. And the formation pressure was expected around 11,000 psi. You can see, huge 11,000 psi formation pressure. And well was subdued after the perforation with 1.65 specific gravity mud. And while pulling out the mud, pulling out the string up to 1800 meter, The rig crew observed that the well was active. See, from 4,697 to 1,800 meter, right? Huge. So you know that while pulling out, what are the things we have to taken care of, especially for such as a deeper well, and even after the perforation. Well was active, and rig crew observed the positive flow. They immediately closed the well by closing the pipe ram, because this is a workcore well. There are only two barriers are there. One is your pipe ram, another is your blind ram. Because in workcore rig, normally they have put the blind ram and only pipe ram and blind ram. After closing the BOP, since this is a tubing, so we needed two barriers from string side as well as from the annular side. The string side, they closed the FOSE, full opening safety wall. And for annular side, we have closed the pipe ram. So we got a pressure of 3,900 PSI. So this is the case we can see here. The first one is the case where the string at the bottom. And second case, once you got a kick, my string is at now 1,800 meter. And we have closed the BOP, pipe ram, as well as FOSV. Now see, what are the problem with? Everybody observe that if I close the BOP, if I close the safety wall, what can I do now? Definitely we can do with the conventional well control method, by dynamic killing or Dillas method or veteran method, even you can go for the lubrication. But what are the constraints with here? The constraint one, number one, the FOH was malfunction. And it was in closed position, since it is having a locally fabricated T connection with the low torque work is the only barrier from the string side. Number two, bull heading cannot be an option here, as the BOP was tested up to 4,500 PSI only. And we observed that there is a leakage from the BOP bottom place at 3,900 PSI. So your string side barrier was failed. Annular side, again the constraint. So that's why we cannot go with the conventional well control method that are normally used while going for any well control operation. So what are the options available with us? Number one, either you go for the bull heading operation, but the problem is that due to this high pressure and we are compromising the barriers, we cannot go with the bull heading operation. Okay, that was the rule out. Number two, either you go for the CTO job, going through the CTO through the inside the tubing, but that was also rule out, because since we have a TCP gun at the bottom, as well as my FOSC was stuck in closed position. So I cannot go with the second option also, that is CTO. Now our team of crisis management team come with a very innovative idea. So what they have planned that, after discussing with the stakeholders and all the team members from well services, they are planned to do with the freezing operation to replace the faulty OPC. Because since unless I replace the faulty OPC, what are the next option available with us? We can't do that. The only thing is that we have to replace the faulty OPC. So the option one is freeze the operation. That means we'll do the freezing job by nitrogen freezing. That means below the FOSC, you have to freeze that portion, so that meantime, whenever the plug was maintained there, I can replace my FOSP. Then what I can do, second option or second thing, I will cut the tubing above the TCP gun with a radial cutter, so that I can lower the CTO and I can kill the well. Now how the operation was performed. So these are the things we have carried out for the freezing operation. But you know that this is the first time we are doing. The team is also not very confident whether we will be successful or not. So what, because freezing is the rarest operation and this was done in first time in India. We don't know the how the freezing operation will perform it. We don't know the freezing temperature of the temperature plug. We don't know what is the length of the plug. We don't know what is the freezing time required, how much time is required to freeze the plug, and at what pressure that plug will be holding. So to commensurate this idea and to ensure the full confidence of the team, first we do the simulation test at the surface. We take the same size of 278 tubing. We wrap the tubing with SS tube, that is stainless tube of 278 or 3 by 8 inch dia tubing. We can see here, this is the tubing. And these are the wrapping of the coils. So we wrap the coil on the same distance, around 2 meter, and we perform the nitrogen job at the surface at -196 degrees Celsius. And we observed that the simulation results were very encouraging. What we found that we got a mud ice plug in 4.5 hours, that we came to know that in 4.5 hours, we can get the freezing plug. Number two, it was tested at 4250 psi, so we confirmed that what are the pressure coming from the hole that can be held with the help of this freezing job. Can you please start this video, please? Sorry. You just click on that, yes. Plug. Can you please increase the sound? Start. So this is the freezing job performing. Sorry, we don't have the complete video here. So this was the simulation result. So after the simulation, we confirmed that we can do that right after the simulation. So this was the actual thing. Since you know that after above the BOP we have a riser. The first thing we have to cut the riser, remove the riser. So the portion you can see above the BOP, you can see the direct opening of the tubing, 278 tubing. So we cut the riser, remove the riser, wrap the tubing with this what I got, the SS tube, and we have started access the well bore. So this well string, which was under 2500 psi, having a load of like one more thing, very important thing. The simulation which we have done, that is a single tubing, right? But here the tubing is under tension of 15-ton load. So under that also we have to ensure that that will be holding it. It will not affect the metallurgical effect. So well string with 270 tubing to above the BOP, which was under pressure of 2500 psi, and having a load of 15 ton of wrap with freezing coil, that is 3/18 SS tube. And after that, we can see the white portion there. The insulation jacket was also wrapped around the SS coil. Now we started pumping the liquid nitrogen, as I mentioned. Now we are just freezing your, hold your breath. We have injected at minus 196 degrees Celsius with the pressure of around 120 psi, and that made a freezing plug in around 4.5 hours. We trapped the wellbore pressure above the plug, was bleeded systematically. You know that what we are doing in the negative testing, we are systematically bleed down the pressure. The same way also will bleed down the pressure. After we carried out the negative pressure test, it was confirmed that there is no pressure above the tubing. Then that confirm it, that nitrogen plug is holding the pressure of 2500 psi. So we CMT quickly took in the action, and they have replaced the faulty FOSC, because we get a lot of time. Can you please run the video? So this is the operation, what we have done in the field. So nitrogen pumping is continuously going on. And crisis management team, they are replacing the faulty FOSV above the rig floor. Thank you. Sorry. So every incident, what Mr. Gandhi has told, that there are enough number of learnings, not only 3, 4, 5 years. You can see lot of learnings from both the incident. Both the incident happened after the perforation. Now we cannot neglect. Normally what happens that in the field, we are very, very careful about the drilling operation. But after the drilling, you know that well has been subdued, everything, know that I know the pressure. But majority of the incident, worldwide trend is that more than 30% of the incident happened during pulling out operation. So same thing happened is also the pulling out operation. So what are the lessons we have learned? Again, I will repeat the same thing what Abhijit had mentioned. During conventional production testing, a well should be perforated with adequate ore balance. And very important thing, we must have a pressure control system. It doesn't mean that if you have a BOP, it's a pressure control. It should be a tested barrier. Then only it's called as a barrier. IGPV or WB element, that is well barrier element, there should be minimum 2 barrier element always present in the system, whether it's an ore balance system or a BOP, but it should be tested. If it is not tested, no use of putting the barriers. It's nothing. If you are BOP, if it is not tested, if you are wellbore pressure of 10,000 psi, BOP should be tested 10,000 psi minimum. Provision of at least 2 tested barriers, always available. FOSV on the rig floor. See, FOSV normally BOP are taken care of very quickly, but FOSV normally we are not tested, but it should be tested. Whenever you are doing at the initial testing, it should be tested at a rated working pressure. Whenever you are testing the FOSV in subsequent, it should be tested up at least MASP, that is maximum anticipated surface pressure. Because from tubing side, this is the only barrier which are holding when there is activity in the wellbore. So FOC should be tested at MASP. Now the last one, but is very, very important. A well should be monitored through the trip tank. You know, trip tank is not only for to just fill the string or fill the annulus. A trip tank is used to monitor the well, whether there just swabbing is there or surging is there. So this is the very, very important thing. Lot of accident or lot of incidents we can reduce if you properly use the trip tank and if you monitor it properly. If your well is not taking proper amount of mud, you should stop the operation, go down, circulate out, because you must have enough overbalance whenever you are pulling out the well, and you must have some time also there. There is sufficient time will get it if you try to monitor the well at earlier time. So situation will not be worse. We have a lot of time because the trip tank purpose is not only just to fill the well, it detects the swabbing as well as surging. So thank you very much, and this is the team which have performed the operation at Sivsagar. So thank you very much for the management of ONGC, IIDC, and all the senior officers for giving us the opportunity, for sharing the knowledge, and giving us the opportunity to well control team, being a part of the team. Thank you for my management, Bhatt Saab, Prasad Saab, thank you very much. If you have any questions, you can please go ahead.
I'm sure Sanjay Bhatt has something to say on this. Anything, Sanjay, you want to add to it? The mic is there.
Already Prashant has told anything, but only thing, as a lot of drilling fraternity people are there, so any well control incident, before it happens, it gives lot of indication, pre-incident warning signs that should not be ignored, and if that warning sign is well taken care of well in time, the incident will not occur. So all the two incident, we must, when I was in CMT, I must have dealt with hundreds of incidents, but most of the incident happened due to ignorance of initial warning signs and not following the SOP, having not having proper tested barrier. Most of the, as Prashant told, more than 30% incident happened during testing or workover operation. So that is only because some of the workover rigs, they don't have provision for trip tank, they don't monitor. Even while pulling out wire line, if you are not feeling well, can go under balance. So all these SOPs are well defined, and everything is taught in well control school. That should be taken care. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sanjay.
Thank you, sir.
So I think anybody has any question? Any question? No? Oh, I'm surprised. I always have a lot of question there. So I think basic well control practices, I call it. A basic well control practices, like Prashant talked about, like Sanjay was saying, is trip tank. Very basic. Everybody on the rigs working nowadays has an IWCF certification, be it driller level or supervisory level, but not been used, not been practiced. That is the challenge. I think, again, same thing. Barriers are not there. Even if it is there, is not tested. And that's something that we all have to take away from these two incidents there, that your people on the rig, especially the drillers, assistant drillers, because at the end of the day, those are the guys at the coal face, they are the guys at the front end, they need to understand, and they should be asking the question, irrespective whether it is the rig equipment or is it a operator supplied equipment, are these pressure tested, are these barrier effective before we use them? I think if they are not, we should stop the operation. And I think you heard from Mr. OP Singh today morning, you know, if you stop the operation, there'll be no issues there. Stop card has been introduced now. Stop work authority has been introduced now. So you can stop the work. And these are the learning that, you know, we should discuss on the rig and then encourage people that, you know, you got to make sure. Even a floorman can ask a question there, is that FOSV tested? Like he said, BOP pressure test. When the formation pressure was expected to be 11,000 PSI, why are we not testing the BOP at the pressure expected from the well? Why are we testing at 4,500 PSI? Why is the FOSV has not been pressure tested to the expected pressure, like he said, MASP? So again, you know, we can dwell on it, we can spend a lot of time on it, but learnings are very simple, very straightforward. But effective thing will be when you use those learning there. Take it to the rig, talk to the team, in the toolbox talk, in the safety meetings there, explain to them what went wrong, why it went wrong, and what are we learning from it. Anybody has a question? Otherwise, thank you. Thank you, Prashant, for presenting
very much.
Really nice. Thank you.
So we now come to the presentation on hearts and minds, a key focus area. Sanjay Menon is with Aban. He has a diploma in electronics engineering from NIAT Kochi and a PG diploma in materials management from IIMM. He's also a registered safety manager with International Board of Environment, Health and Safety, USA. He's worked in aviation, marine, oil and gas industries during his career, spanning over 30 years. And he's worked in Europe, North and South Europe, North and South America, Southeast Asia, Middle East. Currently, he's head of QHS with Aban Singapore Private Limited. Sanjay, please.
Very good afternoon to you, gentlemen, distinguished and lady chair. Indeed, it's a great honor to present before you the hearts and minds. Actually, I would like to start with explaining to you the history of the hearts and minds. So when they put the presentation, I will just explain to you actually how it originated, the hearts and minds, and what is the reason why you know, Aban chose to have it as a tool to, you know, incorporate or implement or better the safety culture that we have on board our rigs. So the as you know that, you know, the hearts and minds, even though it has been practiced by the industry's bigwigs, for Aban, from the past, our HSE statics, we could understand that, you know, people are addicted to unsafe behaviors, which looks as if they have no intrinsic motivation for HSE. So how can we bring the change, or how the change can be initiated, and that we could manage through. No, it's okay.
Sanjay, let them do it. Let them
Yeah.
do it from here. Otherwise,
Okay.
there's a confusion.
So continuing with what I said, we could manage rule breaking by practicing that, work safely and improve the overall supervision. Okay. So first, the second slide. The next. next one. So you can pass on these 3 slides after that. The next one. Yeah. So now we in Aban 8, the safety culture is proactive as of now, and you might be wondering that how could we, understand that we have got a proactive safety culture on board. So you are aware that there are 5 sets of safety cultures, 5 types of safety cultures. One is pathological. Basically, you say that we don't care what happens. Okay. The second is reactive. Reactive is you can say that whenever something happens, at that time we will see, and then we will have lessons learned, all this implementation part of it. And third is calculative. We have got systems in place. Okay. And the fourth is proactive. That is safety leadership and values drive a continuous improvement. And the fifth one is generative. That is HSE is how we do business. So the next slide. So there is a set of 23 questions that with due diligence that is answered, and on a scale of 1 to 5 marking is given, and it is tabulated, and that is how we arrived at the conclusion that we have the sort of proactive culture on board. Next slide, please. So here you might be seeing the word CRM. CRM is Crew Resources Management. So I'll just explain to you what are the pillars, or you can say the elements that is there in the CRM. The first, as you know, that is the HSE safety, the culture on board. That is the current HSE culture that we have on board. Okay. The second thing is that you've got a set of elements. These elements are, you can see, they are the focus areas based on the type of safety culture you have. So what are the areas that you need to focus on, to improve your safety culture? So we have identified those key areas as 10. You can see there: energy isolation, intervention, hazard identification, drops. You have toolbox talk, situational awareness, and after action review, smart conversations or smart tour, and job planning and communication. So these elements are now, each of these elements we give, you can say, classroom training by the safety coaches. During the pre-tower meetings, we will discuss certain points, or individual coachings are given, and it is tabulated, or it is vis-a-vis the planning, briefing, execution, and debrief. Basically, these are the 4 elements, or you can say the 4 important areas, which it will take care of any normal activity. You can say a low risk activity, or a medium risk activity, or a high risk activity based on the risk assessment that is carried out before you plan the job. Okay. So this next. So here you can see the decision making is made versus situational awareness. We have got a process for assessing the risk prompt card. So if it is a low risk activity or any sort of activity, the crew members, before they start that activity, they have a set of questions that they discuss among themselves, that if I am going to do this particular activity, what can hurt me? Okay. So if the answer, if the say is yes, we call it like a, your traffic signal amber. Okay. The second question, if he's going to ask again among his group is, what, is there any drops that is going to happen in my activity? If again the answer is yes, then it is an amber. And the third one, what can hurt others due to my task? Again, if it is an amber, then that means that it is not, he has to immediately inform the supervisor and then carry on. His supervisor will conduct the risk assessment and then further will go. So this is sort of, a soft skill which we are trying to instill in our crew as far as a low risk activity, and then the supervisors will take over. So now, this particular slide, what we are trying to say is that once these activities are going on, like for example, if there is a high risk or medium risk or high risk activity, we will be having, say, for a hot work, we have got a hot work activity going on, and in that we will have, the risk assessments. And now, by this process, our safety coaches have got a permit to work audits or isolation. Whenever an isolation is done, the lockout, tagout. So there is a set of questionnaires that is being asked, or they have got a set where they do the permit audit or the lotto audit, and then based on that, they make sure that, or you can say it's called a verification process by which it is identified whether you have followed the conditions that is laid on the permit, or are they doing it. Thank you, sir. So this particular CRM ensures that, on the quality assurance on the permit to work as well as on the lockout tagout. And after the activity is done, so there is during the activity and after the activity that we have got an after action review, or we call it debrief. So what the questions that the crew member asks, if it is a low risk activity or a medium risk activity or a high risk activity, the questions are asked, what have we done well, and what are the things that we need to improve. So this, what it does, or what value addition it brings to the entire process, is that using this, you can improve your risk assessments. That is, this same task which is going to be repeated next time, so that this is being recorded, and then, the crew will have the toolbox talks based on this. This is about, as I was telling you, when we were talking about, the main pillars of that is one of the verifications, or you can say the identification of, the crew's intervention culture, that is having a timeout for safety, and then, through we call it smart card, that is a safe C monitor. Basically, it is, if it is an unsafe act or a safe act, how the crew member or the person who's intervening can see that activity, then he is monitoring it, that particular activity, and then, intervening, making sure that having a smart conversation with that individual and making him understand what he has gone wrong. If it is a safe act, appreciating him, and then, you are making an agreement. If it is an unsafe act, that is reinforcing it, and then, you have got a system in which you can track it, so that in case of any future, repetition, he will understand that he shouldn't do this. The next slide, please. So these are the benefits of the smart conversation, that is engaging people, identifying the correct, reinforcing safe behaviors, demonstrating commitment, and on-job training. So this is the signage we are using, but basically, that the crew members basically come and have a talk, or they come and stop the activity, or they will, talk with the supervisors or with the crew members who are doing it. This is one of the another, when we are talking about effective supervision, see, all the head of the departments, before they start an activity, they, whenever they go to the site or along with the crew members, they go and conduct a safety tour. The idea of the safety tour is like an on-job training. That is, the crew members are able or given discussed about a hazard, and then explained about, what are the risks that can, emanate from that hazard. So it is a sort of OJT in which the crew member identifies a hazard, and in his, next job assignment, he identifies it and he knows exactly what it is. So it is a sort of on-job training that is being provided. Can I have the next? So here, when we were talking about the managing the rule breaking, so the first one we were telling about, having, making them identify the hazard, then timeout for safety or interventions. And the third one is that if there has been a repeatedly, a violation or of any shortcomings are taken as far as the work is concerned, there is a consequence management system that we have on board. It is verbal warnings, and second is a written warning, and the third one is a final written warning. So, so that we are trying to eliminate the, the unruly behaviors or a set of, or a person who, despite given ample opportunities improve, is not improving. And here we have got a, as a part of our crew resources management, we have got a safety campaign that runs in which, it is, the basic idea is, why I work safely campaign. So when during the vacations the crew member pursues their hobbies, they go with their families. So these, we encourage them to bring the pictures, and then, it is posted in the general areas where they access, like, dining rooms or, the crew recreation rooms, so that, this brings to them a memory or creates an unease in them, whereby, during the meetings when we conduct, it brings into the mind that, they have to, be proactive, work safely, so that they can return home safely. So this is a sort of, a reminder which is being embedded into their minds when they see these pictures. Sorry, I couldn't put these pictures because there are huge pictures, and the PowerPoint has got less space. The next. As you know that most of you agree with me that, based on their feedbacks or the best smart conversations, or we call it the Hearts and Minds conversation or interventions, awards and rewards are given. And, even for the drops also, the best drops card weekly, on a weekly basis, it is awarded to them, so that, it is a sort of encouragement, which is another, tool that is being used to associate with this. Next. So the last part is how we are going to review and reporting and reviewing, we call it R&R. That is basically, this is a back to basics focus area. There are, as I told you, that the 10 focus areas which we had identified and we are using it. So there is a set of, again, the safety coaches using the due diligence have conversations with the crew, and they, on the scale of 1 to 5, it is recorded in a Excel sheet and populated, and finally, it gives you a picture in the form of a rose plot. Basically, the sender one, if it is coming towards the sender, that means you have to improve yourself, and if it is moving away, that means you are doing well. So that's all, gentlemen. The last slide. So our understanding is that no job is that urgent where it can be done safely. Thank you.
Any question? Thank you, Sanjay. Any question? Okay, so I think every organization has got a different best practice, if you want to call that, and one of this is from Avani's Hearts and Mind there. Thank you, Sanjay. Okay, I know I got about 10 minutes there. I'm going to talk about today well-controlled incident classification and reporting. Mr. O.P. Singh last time asked me, when I shared with him that in Shell we used to use these classification. So how you have it in the occupational safety, you classify as a near or unsafe act first, near miss, then you talk about first aid case, medical treatment, RWDC, and then you go to LTI fatality. Similar way, well-controlled incident also can be classified in different categories there, which is WC 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you put the slide, Vikram? Does it work? Am I going that way? How does it go back? This one?
This one is back.
Oh, sorry, thank you. Okay. So, like I said, as we know, occupational safety incident, how do you classify? Similar way you classify your well-controlled incident, basically potential to escalate and loss of well control or a barrier, well over barrier there. Barrier event, when we talked about, I mentioned about the barrier, that you need to have a 2 barrier in the string, you need to have a 2 barrier which are tested barrier outside in the annulus, like Prashant also talked about. So that's about the barrier element. And barrier, you all know that, which can control your formation pressure, which can control your well containment, basically. That's what the barrier is. Barrier and isolate that formation. Now, I'm sure you've seen this left side of the triangle, which is basically occupational safety incident triangle. Start from unsafe act, goes all the way top to fatality. And if you want to put on the right side, which is a process safety or well control kind of a triangle there. So you got well control level 4, level 3, level 2, level 1, and then ultimately you go to catastrophic, which could be both for same, be it occupational or a well control. So in terms of level 4 is the lowest level that we're talking about, and then level 1, which is uncontrolled and release, where you need a third party intervention. This went too fast. Okay. So before I go in defining what are those different level of well control incident classification and reporting, you will read this operating limits there. So I just wanted to make sure you understand when I say operating limits, what is meant by operating limit. So just choose, you can read this slide, I won't read this for you there. Basically it defines the envelope of the safe operation there, and which if it exceeded could result in a potential safety hazard there. So level 1, incidents, uncontrolled flow to the surface or seabed, even underground blowout possible there. From a situation where all the barriers protecting a flow path have failed and immediate action to re-establish the barrier unsuccessful operate. Now I give you example here. All barriers are lost when well is flowing. And then second example is uncontrolled flow of the wellbore fluid. Basically this is level 1, which is uncontrolled, and it is basically a blowout where you need third party intervention there. That's what he's talking about, that barriers are lost. The 2 barriers are there in the string, they have been lost, and well is completely out of control. Level 2 well control incident classification is all about potential to flow path has been well protected by a single remaining barrier. So you had 2 barriers, one has been compromised, you still have a 1 barrier there, but you have a control of the flow which has been prevented, basically, no loss of well integrity. An example of that is a confirmed kick handled outside the operating limits, but it has been contained. So basically you have first barrier of hydrostatic, the mud has been lost, but you have been able to close the well in when you had a kick, which means well is under control and within the operating limits that we're talking about. That means that's a level 2. And reporting of the incident, because what happens, you can classify them, various categories there, and you can put in a dashboard and you can start analyzing these ones, that how many of these incident level 1 or level 4 are happening in our organization, and what are the key focus area, what are the trends that we are seeing here, and what need to do going forward. Level 3, again level 3 and level 4 are further down the line and then the level 1 basically is obviously there. And you can read that, I won't read it for you. And just example, I am showing you the uncontrolled timely shut-in of the well flowing a confined influx and handled within the operating limit. So basically there was a delay. There was a delay there. Yes. So again, there is something that you can read through it. It talks about the well-controlled contingency plan. Now I'm sure organization have the well-controlled contingency plan. I heard somebody talking about in the morning on bridging document. So we have a HSE MS bridging document. Do we have a well-controlled bridging document? Do we have a well-controlled contingency plan in place in case it is beyond the capacity of the rig to manage those kind of incident there? Do we have that in place? That's something need to be kept in mind, and I think going forward we should have that in place. Level 4 is a very simple, well-controlled incident there that can be handled at the rig site, managed at the rig site, which is, you can clearly see that not resulting in a big kick there. You just see that the PVT volume, that shows there the flow is going more there, and that's kind of incident that's called level 4 incident there. So if we can classify these incidents, they are well-controlled incident like we do the occupational safety incident, I am sure there is a lot of learning we can get in terms of trending them and going for the key focus areas. Now, I have been talking about this barrier, and if you see this, the blue all primary barriers and the red are the secondary barriers. So if you look at the packer, if you look at the tubing there, if you look at the wellhead walls there, look at the Christmas tree, they are all primary barriers given there. And if you look at the secondary barrier, you're talking about the hanger, you talk about the casing, you talk about the outer walls on the wellhead there and the tree. They are all your secondary barriers. So they are all barriers. Now barriers are only good if they have been tested and verified that they are working, they are effective. That's how they're going to work as a barrier. So those kind of work basically goes into verification of your barrier, testing of your barrier there. So you got to make sure in your drilling program, my suggestion is in the drilling program for every section you drill there should be a diagram like this which shows which are your barrier. And people on the rig can say that this is my primary barrier, this is my secondary barrier, and I know they are effective barriers. And that way I can drill the well without any having well control incident. Well, this is a bow tie diagram, you all know about it, so I'm not going to go in detail about it. Thank you. That's all I had. If you have any question on the well control incident classification, I'm happy to answer it. Otherwise, I'll hand over to Mano. Thank you.
So no questions, I guess. So we are coming towards the end of our program. We have a few more agenda points left. The next one is the leadership messages. We have a few people over here. We have requested them to, speak their opinion, their mind on the subject that has been discussed today. So first each person can speak for 2 to 3 minutes. So first I would like to ask Mr. Michael Portia, CDS Deepwater, to come on the stage and kindly give your leadership message, sir. Thank you.
Key executives, senior officers of ONGC, senior executives of ONGC business partners, constituent members of DOIRC IADC chapter South Central who are present here, and officers and others who are joined online. Very good afternoon to all of you. Today's meeting was very energizing, and at this moment it seems our energy level is a bit down. First of all, thank you for inviting me to give my leadership message. In a broad picture, if you see the industry, has come together decades ago as a group for mutual benefits instead of working as individual companies, so that together we can meet the energy needs of the world. To survive and thrive, energy organization must completely execute and possess some characteristics. First of all, that is a strategy. So here the DOIRC objective is, our strategy is zero accidents. To achieve that, the set goal, that is our zero accident, is the set goal. To achieve that, what are the means available? We have seen from morning to now certain means of that. So the goal is set, the plan is made, and comes the execution part. The execution requires a plan, a process, a system, and a system to receive feedback. And as pointed out by our Director TNFS and subsequently by Mr. Gandhi also, it needs a budget. Safety needs a budget too. Finally, excellent strategy, execution, and risk management alone won't deliver the success, but it needs to be channelized in a particular way and animated towards the goal by your leadership. I see everyone here sitting as the leader towards this goal. The safety moment started with the raw water pipe incident. At that moment, Mr. Randeep was, I heard he was asking a question, why accident happens? It came to in my mind a counter question also. Why accidents don't happen? We need to look into that also. In the objective way, we can find the answers. Excellent feedback from the participating officer. In what way we can prevent that? Replace the system, engineering control. Very good to know. It needs a budget. When you want to replace, you need to have a budget. That's why I insist our safety needs a budget. Subsequently also, I will come along that. Subsequent to this, our DOIRC chairman delivered his message, Mr. V. Prasad. The purpose of DOIRC, past DOIRC, recap of the past 3 DOIRCs, he brought, rekindle our memory. Followed by our director's message, he insisted that safety is a behavior process. Something it has to come or inbuilt from inside it. So, how to inbuild this learning and relearning? How will you learn and relearn what we heard here? It takes our thought process, what we kept in our file or racked somewhere, it brings out in our mind when somebody else speaks on that. So I like his message, safety is not free, you must ready to pay the price. Followed by Mr. Dadial, recap of past happenings and what action has been taken in ONGC, and the near misses versus LTA FR, last time incident frequency rate trend. It was very heartening to see. And the initiative taken by ONGC was narrated to us. There were 3 occupational incidents discussed. One by Mr. Jishnu Saji, QHSC manager, dynamic drilling, vector driller. This is a trip and fall on the floor level, resulting into a hand injury. It was aptly asked whether the floor was okay or something wrong with the PPE he was wearing. Everything was okay till that accident happened. It was very subjective or objective investigation. That is, it is marked as that person was running to meet maybe his time challenges and resulted a trip and fall. Followed by Mr. Thomas from Constellation. This is incident about fall from height. Person has done the job safety analysis, has taken the permit, tick marked everything, but failure to adhere to that. And very valid point is said that when the original design is done by the OEM, we fail to look through it. We assume it is safe, but it is not always. So we need to see through it. The second point is, in the industry, we have the habit of making our own tools, which is prevented in many companies. It sometimes recurs to fabricate a tool. Then we receive a tool from over the counter or from shop. It is not simply made. A lot of design goes into it. A lot of thought processes go into it. A lot of failure analysis done on that. Based on that, the tool is coming out. But when we do it in our rigs or installations, do we go through that process? It's a question mark. The answer he has given is, if you want to use such tools, take permit. It involves some other people also to put their mind there. So I feel it's a very good initiative. We need to follow this. If you are forced to use improvised tools, in the subsequently you see that Mr. Prashant Mudgare's presentation, the T-rod is locally made, which resulted into the FOSV failure. So these kind of things do happen, and maybe taking a permit for using these kind of tools will safeguard us from these kind of failures. The third one is a drop object discussed by Mr. Shekhar Chandra Sharma from Sagar Jyoti. Drop object happened or occurred because of the belt parting. I fully endorse Mr. Randeep Gandhi's view. Belts are to be used in special occasions only, not for routine jobs, where other means of lifting gears can be used. And when we take the permit, you need to mention if you are going to use a belt, and that it needs to be inspected prior to use it. Inspecting is, I hope Mr. Dadial will agree with me. We were together in Vijay. I was in Vijay for a brief period as a safety officer. In fact, Dadial is my mentor in safety. Inspection of lifting gears. It is easy to inspect wire ropes for defects than these belts. These belts appears sometimes good, but part suddenly because of aging and the condition in which it is stored. So this is a good point to note, followed by Abhijit Devarma's well-controlled incidents and Prashant Mudgare's well-controlled incident. As I mentioned, DOIRC gives an opportunity to rekindle our mind and go through the things which we do not go through in our office. We do receive these reports by mail, downloaded, read once, and kept in a folder, and never referred back. This is an opportunity to learn and relearn to move us towards a behavioral-based safety. Here one point in the second incident, it was mentioned that trip tank. Trip tank was not used. Why trip tank was not used? Because trip tank cost you some money. Because trip tank cost you some money. Safety should not be bartered with money. That's my view. We leaders sitting here need to keep this in our mind, and when we sign the work plan and the permits or the bridging documents, we need to look into these kind of things. It was heartening to see the title, Hearts and Mind. I thought something else is going to speak, but it is a safety procedure being followed by Aban Offshore, rechristened as Heart and Mind. Every company has their own safety culture. The ultimate aim is to have a safe working environmental for the industry as a whole. Finally, the well control classification given by Mr. Randeep Gandhi, which we know the barrier systems, but it was very presented very crisply and systematically. The idea of we coming together through this DOIRC is, as I mentioned, for the safe drilling industry. The reason for it, today's world, everybody is connected. Something happens in one company is not remaining to that company. We cannot claim dominant leadership that my system is better than yours or your system is better than mine. Because if something happens, then comes increased regulations, increased compliance that is not limited to that particular company, but to the whole industry. And that comes with a cost, and the cost is going to add our operational expenditure. If we use the existing system judiciously and avoid or prevent these kind of accidents, incidents of catastrophic nature, then we all together move toward together a win-win situation. Thank you.
Thank you, Portia ji. Actually, I forgot to introduce Mr. Portia, though he needs no introduction. Most of the people in the room know him. But for some of those people who are new, coming for first time to IIDC, I just want to mention a few things about Mr. Portia. He's a technocrat with managerial expertise who graduated as a mechanical engineer and also holds an MBA degree from Madurai Kamaraj University in Madurai. He's been with ONGC for more than 30 years. Vast field experience, both onshore and offshore, in particular floater operations. In the early days of his career, he served as RSTC, Rig Safety and Training Coordinator on Sagar Vijay. He brings a niche skill set of floater operations, which made him rise from humble beginnings to his current position as Chief of Deepwater, Chief Drilling Services Deepwater. Thank you. Now I would like to call upon Mr. Sanjay Bhatt, Head Drilling Services Shallow Water. Mr. Bhatt is a mechanical engineering graduate from GG University, Bilaspur. He's been with ONGC for more than 30 years, working in various fields and management level jobs in domestic as well as overseas operations. Mr. Bhatt was head of corporate level regional crisis management team at Baroda. And as we all know, he's executive director currently, head of drilling services Shallow Water in Mumbai. Also, I have had the good fortune of interacting with Mr. Bhatt on a lot of IIDC committees for many, many years. Before he moved to Baroda, he was in Bombay. And we used to always be in that room on third floor conference room, monthly meetings of IIDC. So he's also been a great contributor, volunteer to industry activities. Bhatt Saab, please.
Thank you, Mana. Very good afternoon to all of you. Basically, just half an hour back, I was told I have to speak some message. So, Mr. Portia has already summarized everything. But what I would like to say is this DOIRC is very good platform where all the incidents we share with each other, and there are a lot of learning from each incident. There are a lot of learning from each incident. And what happens when these incidents you project to other people, so whenever such situation comes, like somebody is running and somebody fell down while running in dynamic drilling rig. So once this incident has been told to you, so whosoever is working at rig once in such situation, when he will try to run, definitely something will click in his mind. I saw that presentation in that DOIRC meeting, and there are chances of falling, so something is in back of your mind, so you will be cautious. So the best way to avoid any incident is be cautious. And be cautious means just analyze any act, whatever you want to do, just you analyze before doing it, so you can avoid lot of things. The second one was that raw water pump hauling. Now that incident reminds me, the similar incident happened with me. I was working in a blowout, and then blowout was, it was full-fledged blowout, and one person, myself, and we went. The ring joint gasket was there. We removed everything, and flow was vertical. Ring joint gasket was in 7-inch flange. So plan was to remove that ring joint gasket and next operation was to cap the well. So we went to remove that ring joint gasket. So we made one hook tied with one rope, and because flow was too much, so we'll insert that hook into that ring and pull it out. So that time also we did not analyze, suppose while pulling out, when that ring joint gasket comes into flow, what can happen? And it happened. While pulling out, ring joint gasket came into that flow and it flew up like anything along with that rope. And I was lucky, I was not standing on that rope, or rope was not entangled into my leg. So anything, that was a mistake. And same way, if this people who were pulling out the raw water pump, if they would have analyzed it, suppose something happens while pulling out, suppose crane fails or something happens, it goes, so at least it will not entangle their body. So these are the things. On part of this well control incidents, as I told earlier also, most of the well control incident happens almost 80 to 85% because of human error. Like in that shooting nipple case. Basically, the basic function of shooting nipple is that you keep the stick up in such a way at rig floor that you can mount your HSE equipment and work. If suppose well comes under pressure, the bottom most donut should rest against your BOP so that it should not come out. But in that, I think Abhijit forgot to mention one critical thing. The shooting nipple was original shooting nipple. It was 13-meter long, but since stick up height used to be high and people used to face difficulty in putting up that lubricator or wireline BOP, they welded some flange 1.3 meter above the donut. But that point of time, they did not analyze, whosoever gave that idea of welding that flange, so that my stick up will be only 2 meter. They did not thought once that flange stuck just below the annular, still my donut and the pipe which will be against shooting nipple. So that was not, so any act you do, just you pros and consequences you should analyze, then you can avoid such things. That was the incident. And the last one, the Shivsagar incident, of course, it's very clear cut. While pulling out, hole might not be taking proper mud, and that's why that incident happened. And if that would have been analyzed, similar lot of, if in your company also, every operator, they analyze their incident, and after analyzing, the end result comes to there is some point or other point of something has been missed out. Something has been missed out, because of that only these incidents happen. So, my only message to all the stakeholder whose people, the crew are operating at rig, is like DOIRC, there are a lot of, every company is using their tool to inculcate safety culture. And I would suggest such incident, there should, some animation should be made because a couple of times I always say that if you read something or you speak something, you listen something, you forget very well. But if you see something on video, definitely you will remember it for quite some time. And initially when we started our own CMT, crisis management team, we started a practice of all the incident, making animation of all the incident and sharing across all the work center. Sharing across, so number of incidents have come down. And if you analyze last few incidents of well control, particularly in workover operation, it happens only in chartered hire rig, on land chartered hire rig, and that's only because crew are not trained properly. And we used to make, recently one incident happened in Mehsana, there was a flue glass blowout, that also in private rig. So as Mr. Porcia said, safety costs money. So people are avoiding safety trainings to their crew. So should not be done so. People should be trained. Of course, offshore people are very strict on training part, but onshore people, they sometimes they bypass training norms and they do shortcuts. So any shortcut, if you trying to do, it may every time you cannot be lucky. Every time you cannot be lucky, incident may occur, and sometimes blowout like incident may ruin your company. So that's all from my side. Thank you very much. Thank you IEDC for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Bhatt. Now I would like to call upon Colonel Vishnu Rawal. Colonel Vishnu Rawal, many of you over here may not know because he's the head drilling services in Mehsana. So he's our guest from Mehsana today. He started his career in ONGC in Sagar Shakti. And first 9 years of his career, he was offshore. After which, of course, he moved to Sibsagar. Then he did a stint in Ankleshwar. Later on went back to Assam. And then finally, he has been in Mehsana for last few years, where he's now the head of drilling services. So I'd like to invite Colonel Vishnu Rawal to speak a few words. Of course, he's also in the service of the nation, you know, as a colonel in the territorial army and having served in a lot of volunteer activities, and during crisis times, he has served the nation a lot.
Thank you, Manav. All senior officers, ladies and gentlemen, मानस ने सही बोला कि टीए में आर्मी में एक्चुअली डिसिप्लिन जो होता है वही डिसिप्लिन आ जाने से कल्चर भी हमारा बिल्कुल अच्छे, सेफ्टी का कल्चर अच्छा होगा, उसमें नो डाउट। कि हमने काफ़ी लोगों ने काफ़ी चीज़ें बताई कि सभी को पता है, फिर भी हमारा एक्सीडेंट होता रहता है, उसका रीज़न क्या, वो एनालिसिस भी करना बहुत ज़रूरी है। वन पार्ट ये भी है कि बहुत सारी चीज़ें आदमी को काम करता है पता है, फिर भी छोटी छोटी चीज़ें रह जाती है। दैट इज जैसे जे से बनता है कि जे से डिस्कस करना चाहिए, इट शुड भी डिस्कस करना चाहिए। बहुत सारी चीज़ें रह जाए छोटी छोटी, जैसे बीओपी के बारे में काफ़ी चीज़ें बोली सभी ने। बीओपी मेन एवरीथिंग विल नॉट नो कि हाउ, तो मतलब खोलना, ये करना, वो करना, उसमें छोटी छोटी चीज़ें रहती है, उसी से चीज़ें एक्सीडेंट होता है। मेरा खुद का एक एक्सपीरियंस था, मैं जब सागर शक्ति रिग परी था और सुषमा जी भी थे और नारायण भी था उसमें। सागर शक्ति हीरा प्लेटफॉर्म में लगी थी और जस्ट वेल किल, ये टेस्टिंग कर रहे थे, वेल किल किया था पानी से, जस्ट सी वाटर। और उस समय किल करके गए तो बीओपी हटा दिया था सब कुछ, उन्हें क्रिसमस ट्री हटा दी थी। क्रिसमस ट्री हटाने जस्ट एनुलस के साथ हमने लाइन लगा रखी थी, वो पता है कि एनुलस को लगी रहनी चाहिए। मैं था, हमारा असिस्टेंट शिफ्ट इंचार्ज, मैं उस वक्त एक सुब्रमण्यम के थे, मैथ्यू करके थे, डडियाले लोग जानते होंगे। तो मैं नीचे डेक पर था, वैलेट डेक पर था, और सडनली धीमे 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 स्टार्ट हो गया फ्लो चलाऊँ तभी क्या करे। एक टॉप पेन था कश्मीरी लाल, लैंडिंग निपल था ऑलरेडी था, तो उसको बोला जस्ट 2 मीटर का लैंडिंग निपल था, जस्ट उसको लगाने की कोशिश, फिर इतना स्लोली बढ़ गया फ्लो। और फ्लो बढ़ने के बाद उसको जैसे तैसे लगाने पे एक बार तुम नीचे गिर गए, 1.5 मीटर से नीचे हो गया। हेलमेट लगा था, सब कुछ लगा, फिर वापस हो गया और वापस जैसे तैसे लगाया, फिर मतलब अभी आज का हालत था कि लग गया लगता। और फिर जस्ट ऑपोजिट हल की साइड में डाल दिया पानी वो करके, ऊपर बोला भाई पंप चालू करो। जस्ट दैट वाज लाइन अप विथ अ मड पंप। उसने स्टार्ट किया, विद इन 10-12 क्यूबिक मीटर जैसे गया पानी आया वापस। तो कहने का कि अल्टीमेट हम छोटी सी चीज़ें थी कि अल्टीमेट हमको पता नहीं था उस समय, हमने जो भी किया हमको इतनी चीज़ें नहीं पता, सी वाटर से होता है। ऐसे अभी आपने जैसे बताया ना, महसाना में वर्क और रिग में मोस्टली बीओपी के काम जो होते हैं, जस्ट बीओपी के काम वर्क और रिगों में होते हैं। वर्कों में फ्लू उसमें क्या है कि जैसे पुल आउट 11 मीटर का है, उधर यूआर वेल होते हैं, जस्ट एयर इंजेक्टर पंप करते हैं, एयर इंजेक्टर करते हैं, उससे जलता है नीचे, उधर से वो तेल आता है। उसमें जो ब्राइन वेट किया था 1.05 का ब्राइन वेट लिया था, और जस्ट उसका पुल आउट कर लिया, उसने देखा नहीं, जस्ट उसने ब्लाइंड ट्रेन ऊपर, इधर उधर सिस्टम क्या है, पाइप नीचे रखा, ब्लाइंड ऊपर किया हुआ है। वो ब्लाइंड ट्रेन क्यों मत गया, बोले कुछ नीचे गिर नहीं जाए इसलिए पूरा पुल आउट कर दिया, और ब्लाइंड ट्रेन बंद का बंद रहा, न कुछ एनुलस खोला, कुछ नहीं खोला, और जस्ट दे ओपन दिस पाइप रेम जैसे ओपन किया, जैसे खोलने के उधर गया तो धड़ देकर नहीं, तो उसमें फ्लो आया, तो वापस बंद किया। वापस बंद किया तो वन साइड सीट बंद कर सका, दूसरी साइड बंद नहीं कर पाया, और फ्लो अनकंट्रोल हो गया। तो फिर उधर से लोग भागे, और भागने के बाद फिर क्या हुआ, फिर तो वो चीज़ें ब्लो आउट हो गई, चीज़ें हो गई। और उसमें ये सबसे अच्छी कि फ्लू गैसेस ओनली, उसमें H2S और CO रहता है, उससे जस्ट होता है। तो वो नहीं, वो तो हर साल इधर ऐसी चीज़ें होती है, तो पब्लिक को पता है, सब कुछ है, फिर भी हम मिस्टेक करते रहते। किसको नहीं पता, सभी को पता है कि तो फ्लू गैसेस से ये वाला होने वाला, पर फिर भी हम मिस्टेक है। तो मेरा तो जो है कि अल्टीमेट एक्चुअली जो है कि SOP रिलेटेड, जो मतलब आपको जेन्युइन जब चीज़ें होती है, तो मेक दिस ये अपना JSA नोट डाउन करके एक JSA बना दिया, शायद ऑफशोर में तो पता नहीं, आई डोंट नो, तो ऑनशोर दे मेक द JSA, मतलब बिग मतलब जो भी ऑपरेशन वाइज बना दिए हैं, और जस्ट उसको रीड करें। एक्चुअली उसमें क्या बहुत सारी चीज़ें रह भी नहीं जाए उसके अलावा भी। तो एक पार्ट हमको थोड़ा सा करना कि JSA वाला पार्ट, जो आप मतलब चीज़ें हैं, स्पेशल चीज़ें हैं, वो आपको अपने लिखा जाए, और वो एक पूरा रीड करें, पूरी क्रू उसको ध्यान से पढ़ें, उसको समझें, उसको करें, उसके बाद उसको कुछ आए तो वो कुछ नोट डाउन करें। दैट इज़ मोर इम्पॉर्टेंट थिंग, ठीक है ना, JSA। दूसरी चीज़ कि आदमी थोड़ा सा कैजुअल चीज़ें होती है, और वो चीज़ें ऑपरेशन ना करें कि जो चीज़ें नाइट की ड्यूटी वाला काम जो दिन में भी कराएं और दिन वाला काम नाइट में कराएं, तो एक्चुअली जो नाइट है, नाइट के काम है वो ऐसे काम कराएं कि जो उसको ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम ना हो। बीओपी रिलेटेड आपको पता होगा कि बहुत साल पहले, मैं जस्ट मेरे ज्वाइन होने के पहले, ये कुछ एक्सीडेंट 86 की बात है, सागर शक्ति में ही बीओपी निकालते वक्त गिर गया था बीओपी, और एसएस गिल करके ये अपने एक्सपायर हो गए थे, और उसके बाद ऑर्डर निकाला कि भाई बीओपी का काम होगा ही नहीं रात में। ऐसा भी नहीं होना चाहिए, काम होना चाहिए, पर वो एक ऑर्डर निकाल के एक्सीडेंट हुआ इसलिए। उसके बाद फिर वापस हो सकता है अभी ऑफशोर में स्टार्ट हो गया, नाइट में भी ड्यूटी करती होगी, सब कुछ होगा। पर ये जो पार्ट है कि जो ऑपरेशन वाले ऐसे वाले पार्ट है कि दिन में आदमी देख सकता, सब कुछ कर सकता, वो चीज़ें होनी चाहिए। केसिंग लाइन कट एंड स्लिप, आपको सोचिए कि केसिंग लाइन कट एंड स्लिप दिन रात में करने के बाद दिन में क्यों नहीं करें? दिन में ऐसा ऑपरेशन करें कि जो आज हम इजीली चीज़ों को उसको कर सकें। एक छोटी छोटी चीज़ें को आदमी मिस्टेक करता है। दूसरी चीज़ मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि सेफ्टी के लिए हर आदमी को प्रोत्साहन करना करना चाहिए, उसको अवार्ड देना चाहिए, सेफ्टी अवार्ड देना चाहिए उसको, आपके कुछ ना कुछ मतलब कैसे उसको प्रोत्साहन करे, हर अपना चीज़ें कर सकता है। मेरा मानना है कि एक क्रेडिट कार्ड, हमारे पास सबके पास क्रेडिट कार्ड होंगे अपना, और शायद बाहर की कंपनियों में क्रेडिट का अपना एक स्कोर होता है। तो एचएससी क्रेडिट कार्ड सिस्टम क्यों नहीं यूज़ किया जाए कि हर आदमी अपना क्रेडिट कार्ड सिस्टम अपना क्या है, हर चीज़ का एचएससी का अपना किसका क्रेडिट है, वो कैसे किया जाए? आदमी अपना ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा नियर मिस बताएं, वो चीज़ें बताएं, उसका क्रेडिट जैसे बड़ा उसको दिया जाए। वो चीज़ें कुछ इंट्रोड्यूस किया क्रेडिट, जैसे आईडब्ल्यूसी की ट्रेनिंग कंपल्सरी, आईडब्ल्यूसी की ट्रेनिंग होने से आदमी चीज़ें हैं। एचएससी का क्या है? आपका कोई भी कंपनी कोई भी चीज़ें एंटर होता है तो उसको बोले एचएससी का क्या है आपका क्रेडिट? बोले अवेयरनेस नहीं है, लोगों में बहुत सारे ब्लॉउट होते हैं कि वो नए नए लड़के, आज पुराने सब चले गए और अभी और चले जाएंगे, फिर नए आएंगे, नए का आपका सिस्टम पता नहीं। सब आजकल कंप्यूटर का ज़माना है, सब आदमी को कंप्यूटर चाहिए, काम मेहनत का किसी को नहीं चाहिए। तो ये सिर्फ इंसिडेंट बढ़ते जाते हैं, कम नहीं हो रहे। एक चीज़ है, आप देख लीजिए आपके 20 साल पहले का अभी क्यों ऐसा हो रहा है? हमारे वक्त हमको एक्चुअली रात में ड्यूटी में डाल दिया था, फर्स्ट में चल जाइए रिग पर। आज हम उस चीज़ों को घबरा रहे हैं, क्यों? कि सेफ्टी के रिलेटेड, भाई वो आदमी कहीं हो जाएगा, ये हो जाएगा, होना चाहिए, सही बात, पर उसको काम से भी नहीं डराना। काम से डर गया तो मर गया। तो वैसा आपको मतलब चीज़ें करनी, कल्चर हर कंपनी का अपना अपना सिस्टम है सब। तो जस्ट मैं ओएनजीसी की बात करूँ, अब प्राइवेट कंपनियों में जो भी करते हैं वो उनका कल्चर कैसा है, वो चीज़ें। तो कल्चर को भी आपको ठीक करना है, अदरवाइज तो सेफ्टी को फिर रहेगा नहीं। तीसरी चीज़ थी कि हम अपने इतने सभी लोग, सभी एक्सपर्ट है, ऑल आर एक्सपर्ट इन दिस फील्ड। हमारे अपने तक सीमित नहीं रखता, हमको नीचे डाउन लेवल रस्ट बोर्ड तक जाना चाहिए, और रस्ट बोर्ड वाले को इस चीज़ें होनी चाहिए। और मैं बोलता है कि जो आईडीसी वाला गांधी जी इधर करते हैं, गांधी जी को बोलता है कि किसी रीक पर जाके भी ऐसा चीज़ें कुछ 2-4 लोग जाइए, उसको चीज़ों को कि हम जब तक नीचे लेवल पर नहीं जाएंगे तब तक कुछ नहीं होगा। और तीसरा जी के डंडा, जो बोला था डंडा का बोला था, डडियाल ने बोला डंडा चाहिए, तो डंडा भी चलना चाहिए। डिसिप्लिन, बिना डिसिप्लिन का कुछ चीज़ें इंप्लीमेंट नहीं होती। आर्मी की इतनी बड़ी फौज है आर्मी की, वो चलती है डिसिप्लिन से। जिस कंपनी में डिसिप्लिन होगी उसका कल्चर बहुत बढ़िया होगा, जिसमें डिसिप्लिन हुआ कल्चर है। फर्स्ट डिसिप्लिन, तो वो कैसे लाया जाए वो एक इम्पॉर्टेंट चीज़ है। उसके लिए हमारे ओएनजीसी में तो वो कल्चर, किसी को कुछ दे दिया जाए तो वो फाइट करने के लिए आ जाते हैं, तो वो कल्चर एक लाने के लिए आपको चीज़ें मेहनत करनी पड़ती है। किसको को प्रोत्साहन किया जाए, कुछ चीज़ों को करा जाए। तो एक आदमी जो होता है कल्चर को खराब ना, 5-7 माह से एक आदमी खराब होता है, उसको उधर से निकाल दिया जाए, पूरे तालाब को खराब ना करे, एक तालाब नहीं पूरा सुधारा दिया। तो वो चीज़ें करनी है। और हमारा सबका एक बहुत बड़ा ये होगा कि ONGC में डे बाय डे मैन पावर कमी होगा और अल्टीमेट नए लोग आएंगे, नए लोगों को आपको उस तरफ का कल्चर देना होगा तो ठीक रहेगा। अदरवाइज डे बाय डे एक्सीडेंट तो बढ़ ही रहे। और कुछ चीज़ों होने से आपको मतलब जब बोला कि अवार्ड वाला सिस्टम जो है HSC कल्चर बढ़ाने के लिए अवार्ड देने जो बेस्ट मतलब जो नियर मिस बनाता है, बेस्ट आपका जो भी एक महीने में आपका होगा कि इसको चैंपियन बेस्ट चैंपियन होता है, तो ऐसे चीज़ें जब आदमी देगा तो चीज़ें थोड़ा उसको मोटिवेशन मिलेगा और चीज़ें सिस्टम सुधरेगी। और बस मेरा थोड़ा सा यही था और कुछ थैंक यू सो मच। आपने मैं इधर आया, आप लोगों ने बुलाया, IDC गांधी जी, मानस एंड उसकी टीम को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। और आप लोग ऐसे ही चीज़ें करते रहेंगे। कल्चर देखो बार बार हैमरिंग करोगे तो चीज़ें बढ़ती रहेगी और वो करना ज़रूरी है। एक प्रोग्राम क्या उससे नहीं, डेली के हर महीने में एक बार प्रोग्राम ऐसा होना चाहिए कि और रिग पर भी मैं मानता हूँ, मैं प्रसाद जी को बोलूँगा रिग पर भी एक चीज़ें लोगों को अवेयरनेस के लिए हम इधर से लाइव करते हैं, उधर जाके करके उधर से लोगों को लाइव करिए तो इसमें थोड़ा सा वो रहेगा। और थैंक यू सो मच, थैंक यू।
Manav. Okay, thank you, Mr. So, now to finish it before we go for lunch, I'd like to invite Mr. Narinder Jindal to say a vote of thanks. Mr. Prasad? Huh? Okay. Doesn't want to. That's fine.
We now have the presentations to all the people who spoke and contributed towards the DOIRC. So I would like to first invite Mr. V.V. Prasad to come on stage to give a token of appreciation to Mr. Randeep Gandhi. Randeep, if can we have a plant, please, from there, one plant. Mr. Randeep Gandhi is the moderator of the DOIRC and he's been doing them extremely well. So then I would request if one plant can be brought to the stage. Sorry.
From this podium, I'm thankful to Mr. Gandhi who has been instrumental in conducting this DOIRC, and we are very happy that the target of conducting the 4 DOIRCs in this year we could complete with the support of you all and the the initiations and the support and the help extended by Mr. Gandhi. Let us give him all the applause.
Thank you. I would now like to call upon Mr. Michael Portia. So if you could come on stage, we would like you to give a token of appreciation to the speaker, Jishnu Shaji. Jishnu, may I ask you to come on the stage? Thank you. Can we have one of the... I see that Mr. Sanjay Bhatt has stepped out, probably. Has he left or? Okay, if somebody can just let him know, so we can get him back. But in the meantime, I would like to invite Mr. Narinder Jindal, Vice Chairman IIDC and Country Head of Shelf Drilling, to give a token of appreciation to Mr. Thomas Sheridan Jr. from Constellation for his presentation today. Thank you. Now I would like to call upon Mr. Sanjay Bhatt, ED, Head Drilling Services, Shallow Water, to come up on the stage to give a token of appreciation to Mr. Shekhar Chandra Sharma for his presentation. Thank you very much, Mr. Bhatt. I would now like to call upon Mr. Narayan Ramaswamy of Jindal Drilling, Head of Jindal Drilling, to give a token of appreciation to Abhijit Dev Burma for his well-controlled presentation. Abhijit, if you could come up on the stage, please. Thank you. Mr. Ravi Saxena from Great Ship, if you could kindly come up on the... Sorry, Rajiv, I'm sorry. No, because I thought Mr. Ravi Sheth. I confused with Mr. Ravi Sheth, I'm sorry. But I don't think I am to blame because he's... Right. Right. Yes. So we would like to call upon Prashant Modgare. Prashant, he had to leave. Oh yeah, I think he's got something else going on over here. So yeah. So is there somebody from? Yeah. Can you collect the gift on behalf of Prashant? Thank you. Thanks. I would now like to call upon Zubair from Vantage. Zubair is the head of Vantage in India. To also like to call upon Sanjay Menon from Aban to receive a token of appreciation for his presentation. Now like to call upon, so basically we are calling all the IIDC partners, the drilling contractors are our partners. So Mr. Thomas Sheridan Jr. from Constellation, he's heading the company in India. Please come up on the stage to give a token of appreciation to Mr. R.S. Dadyal, who's not only very much involved in the organization of the DOIRC but also made the presentation, and head of HSE here in Mumbai for drilling services. Now I would like to call upon Mr. Narinder Jindal, Vice Chairman of IDC South Central Asia Chapter and also Country Head of Shelf Drilling, to give the concluding.
Yeah, so before we do that,
Sorry.
I think we should not forget those people who have been putting a lot of effort behind this DOIRC there. And I would like to thank Raman Lakhera, if he's around. Raman, thank you so much. Raman has been instrumental. Raman has been supporting us to put this DOIRC together. Vikram has been instrumental in all DOIRC there like Raman. Shreyans has been there with us. He just joined as an IDC intern there. And Sanika has been. And Shobha goes without saying, she has been there all over the time in IDC for longest, I think. So thank you all for your support. Without that, not possible. Mr. Naveen Agrawal, yes, Mr. Naveen Agrawal. So thank you all. Thank you so much. Come here, yes, please come on the stage. Come on the stage. Come on the stage. Vikram. And we can't forget Mr. Sanjay Kullar, who has been helpful on this DOIRC. Sanjay Kullar sahab, so please come on dais. नहीं यार ठीक है. Thank you.
Now I would like to call upon Mr. Narinder Jindal to give the concluding remarks and the vote of thanks.
So as usual, I am the last person to speak and don't want to hold you back for your lunch. So Mr. O.P. Singh, I briefly thanks him because he had to go for the meeting. Mr. Prasad, Chief Drilling Services, Shallow Water and Chairman of the DOIRC. Mr. Michael Porcia, Chief Drilling Services, Deep Water, and very instrumental to guide us in this process. Mr. Vishnu Rawat, today is our guest. Mr. Inamdar, who is again had to go because of some urgent meeting, and Mr. Sanjay Bhatt, the leadership from the industries, colleagues and friends. First of all, I thank all of you to come here in number and make this DOIRC a grand success. Thank you very much. As he said, the including remark, I think the leadership has spoken in length. And I do not want to repeat, but a few things definitely I would like to mention. First and foremost is the technology. If you can change the technology, we can reduce the incident. As Sridhar rightly said, we have not replaced, but most of the rig in shelf drilling, we have replaced the raw water tower. I have seen in my career since I came offshore, number of incident, raw water tower, either the cable or the tubing bursting, and many cases the whole raw water tower has fall down in the sea. So how can we avoid, if we can remove the raw water tower itself, so many incidents can be avoided. So the technology upgradation is very important as we go along. Second thing is handmade tools. So many incidents today I saw just because of handmade tool. We decided not very long ago that we will not use handmade shooting nipple. But again, if we have certified shooting nipple is not enough. We have to have properly length of set shooting nipple. We have to use the BOP. And I can give you example why I was driller, tool pusher, or I am and rig manager before. Many times, not once, many times I had an argument with the company man, not here in ONGC, other company as well. So why are you have to use the BOP, wireline BOP, because we know the nothing will come up. And sometime BOP is not available, and other time I have seen one occasion, BOP was there but was not in the contract. So why we do BOP, and now you know the reason. And I am very happy that we are including this process safety, because there are so many things happens every day in our life which can lead to a catastrophic incident, not only loss of the equipment, well, formation, of course, the damage of the formation, but it can lead to multiple fatalities, as happened here in India not very long ago. So thank you very much having this process safety, and more importantly, head of the CMT, head of the drilling, and everybody has endorsed that we cannot take the shortcuts, we cannot use handmade tools, we have to use BOP, we have to follow safety, and we have to make sure length of the shooting nipple is proper. So thank you very much for everybody for committing this. And thank you very much everybody, and I think presenter, we have given the gift, but we want to name, thank you them because making this event successful. Vishnu Saji, Thomas Sekhar Jr., Sekhar Chandra Sharma, Mr. Abhijit Debarman, Prashant Montgere, Sanjeev Menon, Mr. Dadial, last but not the least, Mr. Randeep Gandhi, he also gave the presentation. Thank you very much, Randeep. As we said, and our commitment is to have this DOIRC at least once in quarter. We have done 4 here in 2022, 3 offshore and 1 onshore. And our commitment is we should have at least 4 offshore next year in 2023. I have already proposed a date in February 3rd. That is again on Friday. If you can make it happen, that will be great. And after that, every 3 months, we will try to do on a Friday. Thank you very much, and the dais is open. So the lunch is open, and we can have the lunch, please. Yeah. Thank you very much.